Hello, everybody, and welcome to Encounter Roleplay. My name is Will. I'm a D&D sex icon and a Cthulhu sex icon as well, because that's what we're playing today. We're playing Call of Cthulhu, and we are back with our regular old cast and crew, back for a new adventure today. This is episode 1 of our new series, Nameless Horrors. And we're very excited to get started here. So without any further ado, let's go round. Let's figure out who we are, who we're playing. Of course, I'll be your benevolent keeper for the day, so you have nothing to worry about. And let's start with, we have Redundant UK with us today. Redundant, how are you, and who will you be playing today?
I'm not too bad, thank you very much. I'm not too bad. I'm actually quite lucky to be able to actually be on this show. I had my girlfriend round for the week, and she was scheduled to come back, go back today. Unfortunately, there's like gale force winds coming through the UK, so her flight was cancelled. So she's still with me, but she very, very kindly allowed me to play this game. So very big props to my girlfriend.
Yeah.
I think she's right behind me. Hello. So thank you to her. But I will be playing Sloane, just Sloane. He has been with the CALIGULA. Is that how you pronounce it?
CALIGULA, maybe.
Okay, well, whatever they are, the group that we're with.
Caligula. Caligula. What are you talking about? The Caligula.
That's the way I like to say it. That's the way I say it. But he's been with them for quite some time, so he's one of more of the bedded members. He's quite different from the other characters I've played, but yeah, we'll see how he goes.
Excellent. We also have Donovan with us today. Don, how are you doing, my friend?
I'm great. I'm super excited to start another campaign. I'm playing Garen O'Kane. Garen is a member of a fringe order of the Catholic Church, and he's worked with Caligula a couple of times, and he considers himself a man of observational science as much as he does himself a man of God, maybe more. And so that'll be where he's coming from.
Excellent stuff. Excellent. We also have Greg, Grimjack21502, back with us today. Greg, how are you doing, my friend?
I am doing well, man. It is Wednesday. It is 1 o'clock Eastern time. And for the next 3 hours, this is where it's at. Today, Pat Patterson, he's alive. Dr. Thaddeus Lewis, he's dead. So I'm batting 500. And as that is a segue, I am going to be playing Kip Jolly Edwards today, who is a thug, also a driver, who carries a fucking baseball bat. So, I work with Caligula whenever they need someone to drive, and I'm going to be using my bat on Strata Heat pretty soon, because that motherfucker gave me 3 nat ones to start a campaign.
That's right, and of course Latu has given the rest of you all a nat 1, just to to make you feel welcome and not left out. So props to him. We also have, of course, magnificently dressed for tonight, Lindy. How are you?
Oh, I'm doing pretty spiffy.
Are you sure?
Oh, I'm doing pretty great. This is the cleanest I've been in weeks.
This is makeup, right?
Yeah, this is actually pretty much what I look like with makeup. But I am super excited to be playing Lucille Jenkins, aka Lockpick Lou, world's greatest escape artist extraordinaire, among many other self-given titles. She is a hobo who has been many places in her time, well-traveled.
Amazing. Can't wait to meet Lockpick Lou. And last but not least, we have Pruitt back with us. How are you doing, Pruitt?
Hey, man. It's a new year. It's a new Cthulhu campaign. I am fortunate enough to be back with this amazing cast. I cannot wait to see Lucille yell Lucille Jenkins as she runs into some crazy event. I'm sure that's on the docket. But I'll be playing Dr. Alan Pearce, the inspiration of which is my greatest hero in fiction. Hawkeye Pearce from MASH. That's literally all I'm going to be doing, is pretty much trying to do that. So we'll see if a doctor who is a pacifist can survive in Call of Cthulhu with his sanity intact, which guessing probably not.
No. But no. Excellent. Well, before we start today's game, if you guys are new to the Call of Cthulhu series, then welcome in. This game is pretty basic. Whilst there can be a lot of rules with this game, it's a D100 system, and you're trying to roll as low as possible underneath the score that you have. So if you have 45 in a skill, you're trying to roll 45 or less for a success, and that's basically all you need to know about this game. Sanity is one of the main scores to be looking at, as well as hit points in this game. Both of those can drive you to losing your character. If you want to hit 0 sanity, you go completely insane and become my little minion. So throughout the course of the campaign, they'll be losing their sanity as they see terrible and awful things, and just generally horrific things as well. But these guys are a little bit better prepared, perhaps, than the last crew, who knows, because they are members of a secret organization known only as Caligula. More on that here, Kalugi Woogie Boogie, as Renana wanted. But before we dive into the game itself, remind you guys quickly how to interact with today's show. If you haven't followed Encounter Roleplay yet, hit the follow button and join us. Here on Twitch, subscribe to us on YouTube as well, because when we hit 20 followers, you guys get to decide something which happens next in our campaign. It could be a good thing, but let's be honest, my trickster gods, it's gotta be a bad thing, because it's Call of Cthulhu. It's a whole new season, and we've got to start off the year right. The stars have to be aligned in the correct way, of course. Also, there is a tweet corner. Let's put it in chat for you guys. 20 retweets, and we'll have another viewer decision as well. Of course, you can donate to affect the game. You can play as Nat 1s, Nat 20s, Wild Magic Surges, and the donation list of the month is pets of various nature. They can be good things, but often they are just damn right horrific. Last night, my character Gregor got a quote-unquote pet, which was a living tumor on his body, which spoke and had an arm. So some of them are pretty... Yeah, fuck you, Greg. Some of them are pretty horrific and quite fitting for Call of Cthulhu, and of course we'll twist them in all sorts of evil ways for that. But let's talk about today's game. Has this game got anything to do with our previous seasons of Horror on the Orient Express, Master of Nile Aftab? Yes, kind of. I mean, it is set in the same world, so the events which we've done previously in Horror on the Orient Express and Master of Nile Aftab should be considered canon within the world. However, we're not going to be dealing with that same storyline as we were last year, so let's consider this a new story for all intents and purposes. We're set in the year 1928, so it is after the events of the Masks campaign, and the players are all members of this organization called Caligula. What exactly Caligula is, or who they are, no one else knows. If you're a member of Caligula, you've been contacted secretly via letter, or perhaps even by fax, and perhaps even a telephone conversation. And you have been signed up to this group. Essentially, they are supernatural investigators. They investigate weird disturbances, strange things that might pop up in the newspaper that can't be explained, and get paid a great deal of money to do this, which is one of the main incentives for joining this group. Now, its membership is unknown to all others. If you are a member of Caligula, you don't know anyone else within it, which means that today's campaign, this is going to be the first time that each of these players' characters meet one another and even meet another member of Caligula. And our story is going to begin with each of you have been contacted via whatever method you are normally contacted by. Perhaps it is just a letter through the post box. Maybe for Lockpick Lou, a homeless person has given you a message, and Sherlock Holmes style. And you have been told to get on a plane to Massachusetts, and the reason for this is you have to go and talk to a gentleman by the name of Dr. Henry Armitage. You may have read earlier this year that there were strange events at Cold Spring Glen, specifically in the Dunwich area of Massachusetts. It made quite the splash in the news. Essentially, if any of you have read the Dunwich Horror, then you'll be familiar with these events. If you've read the newspaper, of course, you'll hear the spectacular account in that of how a man became a beast and supposedly killed 5 police officers at Cold Spring Glen. And this event has warranted the attention of Caligula, and you are all beginning on this plane journey over to Massachusetts as we begin today's campaign. So, the camera pans in over a cloudy, dark sky as the stuttering engine of the plane makes its way across the sea towards the port town of Arkham. where you are to meet Dr. Henry Armitage. And inside this plane, as the pilot is leading you guys along, we see our cast for today. So let's go around and let's just describe what you guys look like first of all. Sloane is the first person that we're going to take a look at here. Sloane, what do you look like, my friend?
Sloane is quite a tall and lanky person. He has kind of very untidy, longish, shaggy hair. So it's quite thick. He has a very messy beard, which is grey and around the mouth and along the sides. He wears a very thick black kind of trench coat with the collar up. He's very hunched. His face, the most notable thing about him, I would say, on the face is his eyes. Basically, around his eyes, they have rings of deepest black circle around his eyes, which kind of portrays the fact that he's had countless sleepless nights. This man looks like he could be in his... He looks older than he probably is. He looks very tired. And he basically hunches and seems to keep his head down.
Excellent. It is a dark and stormy night, by the way, so your face is illuminated by strikes of lightning in the seats of the plane that you're in. You'll kind of illuminate the dark rings around your eyes and make you look something of a ghostly visage. Opposite you sits Garen. Garen, what do you look like?
So Garen is 5'8". He's pretty average in size, but very athletically built. And he's got piercing green eyes and slicked back.
Lou, she's very petite. She's probably about 5'1", maybe. And even though she's a bit dirty and disheveled, her hair's up in she's long hair and it's up in a big messy bun and just frizz everywhere. She's got very striking features: high cheekbones, green eyes, pale skin. She's very pretty, just dirty.
Nice. And Dr. Alan Pearce. What about yourself?
So Pearce is, about 6'2", runs about 200, kind of lanky, black hair, kind of fair skin, perpetual 5 o'clock shadow. Usually has a drink in his hand, if possible. And right now he's probably wearing like a Hawaiian shirt, maybe some fatigue pants, but he works for, I'd like to think that he works for Caligula a little bit more than maybe most people, being a doctor. Like maybe they need him to check things out. Some shit happened in the war, so he's got a connection with them that goes back a ways. But yeah, he's he's always got a wry grin and something sharp to say.
Yeah. Okay, so the group you in there as the rocketing carriage of the plane takes you through the storm to Massachusetts, and your pilot, by the name of Jameson, has been taking you there. He doesn't talk very much. He keeps himself to himself. Occasionally will let you know when you need to buckle in when there's a particularly strong gout of wind coming at you guys. But for the most part, doesn't ask any questions. None of you have had to pay for this trip, of course. It's all been paid for by Caligula, which is another one of the perks, the many perks of working with these people. So as the plane is going over, now the rest of you guys are now aware that you are all members of Caligula, and there's been a bit of an uneasy tension in the back of the plane as this kind of realization has come upon one another, and you finally get to meet other members of this secret organization, basically, whom you are sworn to secrecy about, of course. Were you to say to a normal person that, I'm a member of a secret group, probably they'll think you're insane or you're talking shit. But it could have possible ramifications. I mean, there has been contracts signed, which could lead to, termination of your contract, which could mean any manner of things. But as this is your first time meeting one another, I'll leave the stage open a little bit for any conversations to meet some of the characters whilst Jameson pilots this vessel through the skies.
Jolly?
Yeah.
You're the same as me? Look,
What's the same?
the same like job thing that we're doing right now.
I was gonna say I ain't filthy, but I mean,
Excuse me, I showered 2 weeks ago. Thank you very much.
it doesn't look it.
I would have done it right before the plane ride, but it was just sprung on me all of a sudden, like.
Okay, well, what do you mean we're the same? I heard of you, Lou. You
Well,
like you like to open things that are closed.
I do indeed. Yeah, I like to open all sorts of things. Open things, close things. It's just, if it's locked, it should be unlocked. If it's unlocked, it should be locked. You know, it's a thing.
Seems like a natural state of affairs then, but what are you doing here, Lou? You seem like you think that somebody might need somebody to open up something? Is that what you're...
That's what I'm hoping, you know. It's I'm on a plane. I don't really like planes, and she's fidgeting with like a little silver charm on her necklace the whole time. She's just like, I don't like planes very much, so I'm really hoping that they've got something nice for me to crack open, like a safe, or just, you know, something big, something exciting.
Right. Okay, but let's say that somebody needs something done, and they're gonna give you something that might maybe resemble some money or something. Right?
Like a lot of money.
I mean, is like soap on the list of things that you might purchase with?
Yes, it is. All right. You know, my personal hygiene. I mean, I'm
not judging. I'm just saying, you know, it seems like it should be a high priority, like soap, food, water. Okay.
It's actually food, water, shelter, and more lockpicks, and then.
May I recommend moving soap up a bit?
I mean, I suppose I could just this once. Because we're like friends, right?
Sure, yeah, we can be friends.
All right, I like that.
Lucy, you could also steal the soap.
What'd you call me?
Hmm?
What did you call me?
Name's Lucille, right?
Yeah, Lucille.
Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah, Lucille.
All right.
But you could steal the soap. That way it seems more exciting.
Whatever floats your boat. I mean,
I could. I hadn't thought of that before. It's a good plan. Maybe we'll steal some soap in Arkham. I mean, I'm the queen there, so, you know.
So, you all headed to Arkham then, eh?
I mean, I thought we passed by. It's where we're landing, right? It was we not. I don't know. I didn't really read the itinerary.
I didn't either. I'm just supposed to go with you all.
Okay.
I mean, we're the only ones on this fucking plane, so I mean, obviously we're all going to the same place. So,
yeah.
If you are opening something or the doc here is stitching somebody up and somebody's going to stop you from either opening something or stitching somebody up, well, I think that's why I'm here.
And as far as where we're going, I think the Bible guy there, what's your name there? By the way, I peeked at the end and the devil did it.
Garen shuts his Bible and he lays it on his lap and he looks up and he looks to Alan and he says, yep, I'm Garen O'Kane. I know that the devil did it. I've read the Bible before, sir. I'm here, I imagine, like you, to investigate a matter of paranormal activity. Is that correct?
Maybe.
And is this any of your first time on such an investigation?
Well,
That's a personal question. But,
I know, right? You don't just go and ask somebody about their first time. That's rude.
Well, I like to know who I'm working with and what their capabilities are. I feel that the group of people chosen for such an assignment would go a long way towards understanding what sort of assignment we may be getting ourselves into.
Well, I'm good at everything, and the name's Lou. Or
Lou?
Lucille, whichever you prefer. My friends call me Lou.
Well, it's nice to meet you, Lou. Is this, are you a master of disguise? Is that...
Sure.
Yeah?
I'm good at everything. Everything. You know, I can disguise myself, I can open things, I can close things. You know, I can do doctor stuff too. You know, I'm the best at everything.
Yeah, I'm not sure I want to play doctor with her, but I'm sure you're fine. But
great.
Yeah, Dr. Alan Pearce. Been around for a while, but yeah, you know, I assume one of y'all will probably get shot or stabbed at some point.
Probably
but,
stabbed. Oops.
Well, I certainly hope not. But I'm glad that you're here. Yes.
Mm.
And
Are you-
Jolly was your fellow?
Yeah, Jolly. Kip Edwards, but yeah, Jolly, I'll answer to that.
Hmm.
You said you were trying to figure out by process of elimination or what type of tools you had in your toolbox as to why we're here, right?
That's
What kind of
correct.
mission?
Yes.
Who's got a
So-
gun? Anybody have a gun?
Nope. I don't do guns. Sorry. I'm good at taking bullets out of people, not putting them in them.
No. There's always an opposite side to every coin, Doc.
Are you our man with a gun, Jolly?
Oh, yeah, I have a gun. So that's one gun, and then there's 4 no guns. So looks like I'm going to be watching a bunch of people read books.
Hmm.
Well, I will admit that while I personally abstain from using firearms, I find them distasteful. I have been in a scrap or two, and I am trained to defend myself as well if it comes to that.
To defend yourself. Okay. Sure. That sounds great.
Now, I feel like we have a woman who is a master of disguises and is a doctor and is good at everything, and we have an actual doctor, for which I am very grateful. And we have a, well, I don't want to call you a brute, sir, but you are a large man who has a gun.
I'm a driver.
Driver.
Driver, yeah. No offense taken.
But the missing piece here for me is, and he looks towards Sloane, who is off being sort of dark and mysterious on the side, hasn't spoken yet.
He'll just kind of keep looking down, and he'll just go, I'm Sloane, and I specialize in the unknown. And then he just looks back down.
Oh, you, sir, are a master of it.
Right, all the negative out of me. Seems like you've already got it down right there.
He just carries on looking down.
And you're a quiet chap. I like him.
Well, I find the unknown to be very interesting, and also a very broad way to describe what you are a master of. When you say the unknown, do you mean the fringe sciences, sir, or are you speaking more paranormally? What is your take on what defines the unknown?
His eyes dart, like his head doesn't move, but his eyes dart to you, and he replies, primarily the supernatural, the unknown, things that would make you weep. And he just looks back and looks down.
Jolly says, yep, I'm going to be watching a lot of people read books.
Well, I much prefer those new moving pictures. So, you know.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
A lot of fun in the dark.
No, I don't suppose anybody has any idea why we're here or has been given any specific information that we might be able to use.
Well, if I'm here, that means there's probably a body. It's about as much, normally there's never a body if I'm not there. So, at least that much.
Yeah, pretty much the only information that you guys have at the moment is to head to Arkham, meet with Dr. Henry Armitage at the Miskatonic Library of Arkham, and that's pretty much all you know. As you're discussing this, you hear from the pilot, Jameson, damn, there's some strange lightning out here tonight. And to look out the window, you will start to see that there are strange flashes of white-hot lightning which are flashing in the area that seem to be far different to your normal strikes of lightning that you might be able to see that will last for just almost a moment, almost like a flash of blue. But these are strangely white and last for several seconds as they seem to connect to the ground and stay there for some time. And they seem to be quite common during this storm. And it seems to be putting off Jameson quite a bit as he's distracted by this. It's damn hard to see out here. And the rain is buffeting in at some, velocity at this point. It's gonna need to find somewhere to land. Might not be too routine, if you know what I mean.
Sloane tightens the seatbelt.
Yeah.
Lucille's not looking out the window because she already doesn't like this plane flight, and she's just like, "Yep, this is secure." I'm just gonna lock it a little bit more. Just lock pick. There we go. Tightened. Secure. We're good.
Yeah. The carriage of the plane is like really bumping along, like it feels like a bus in the air at this point.
So, Garen, I don't suppose you could find a passage in that book there that could help us out here, could you?
Well, I don't think it works like that, at least not in my experience. I think there is a lot of value inside this book, sir, but I wouldn't put my hopes in it at the moment. He's thumbing his rosary, but his eyes are flicking observantly between the other four. And sometimes he looks towards Jameson, too, even though he can't quite make him out from the back.
Yeah.
And I look around the cabin to see if there's any, flotational devices or emergency stuff.
Yeah, the plane is definitely equipped with basic floats, I guess, for evacuation into the sea. However, at this point, you are flying above ground, so you've just kind of come over the sea, and you are now flying over the countryside near Arkham. If you were to look out in the distance to the north, you can see the town of Arkham itself being illuminated by these flashes of white-hot lightning, but the rain is making it difficult to see much farther than that. You can make out trees down below every now and again, but Jameson seems to be more and more struggling with the controls of the plane as it's getting lower and lower into the sky, basically.
I brace for impact.
All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, Jameson says, I'd hold on tight if I were you.
I'll grab hold of anything.
Yeah, there is.
Let go of me, Sloane.
You do so. You grab onto him, and as you do this, you feel this huge surge of energy on the plane as it is struck by bolts of this white-hot lightning, and it just kind of ricochets over and across the wingspan and just seems to fly off. However, you see a small explosion of electricity near where Jameson is in the pilot seat, and he kind of slumps forwards, and the plane begins to nosedive down towards the ground through this storm. Jameson is smoking a little bit. There's an ozone-y smell coming from him as well.
Bloody hell!
Yeah. Pearce immediately throws his seatbelt off and runs up to check him out. Not really thinking about the orientation of the plane or the situation.
Absolutely. Go ahead, give me a. We've got medicine. First aid would also work. Thank you for the stuff, my friends.
Alright, that's a success.
Very nice. Also, Forbrand has given everyone a critical success, so thank you to Forbrand for that. That's a success. This man is dead.
Yep, he's dead.
Yep, he's been charged with 10,000 volts, and it's basically just broken through the small pane of glass that was in the way. Was not protecting him. He took a direct hit.
Are there any parachutes on the plane?
So much for barbecue tonight.
There are not parachutes on this plane.
Could keep holding on then.
Can Jolly get up and squeeze past the dock and rip Jameson out of the seat and do his best to level this thing out?
Absolutely. Romy,
Yeah, I'll try that.
Yeah, you're a driver, right?
I am a driver. This is just like driving in the sky, right?
Just like driving a cab.
Okay, So let's see.
Yeah, I'll help pull Jameson out of the way.
It's kind of like a mech repair, I guess, to like, you know,
Figure it out.
figure it out, yeah.
Okie dokie.
Give me a mech repair on that. 2 off. You want to use any luck?
Yeah, I think this would be a good time to break into that little luck bin I have.
Nice. So, yeah, you, you like almost just kind of get a hold of it, and then you kind of like snap to and just begin to like level this thing out as the plane is coming dangerously close to a small forest just south of Arkham, it seems like, and the plane is just pulled up in time. Through the sky has been, you know, it's like burning and on fire, basically. The engines are going out and sputtering as well, and you just pull it just above the tree line.
Oh, water, lake, large river, ocean.
Roll me a spot in.
Doc, look for something wet.
Well, I don't think this is the
Never
time
mind.
for that, but thanks for the setup.
Softball.
But yeah, I'll keep a sharp eye out for it.
All right. Yeah. So it looks like you have had a spot of good luck here, Jolly, and you spot this small little piece of water, basically. And it looks like a small, like, just natural pond, which is out here in the forest. Comes into a little copse. Like, this is going to be dangerous to get into. Like, this is going to crash. There is no doubt about this. You have no control over this thing other than, you know, being able to hold it kind of in the sky for a few moments, you think. But you can head towards that. If you can give me another mech repair, you can get in towards that.
And seeing him kind of angle towards that, I will run back to get back into the seat to button up my safety belt.
Nice.
I got the handle of this now, Will. This is an extreme mech repair.
Very
As
nice. Yeah, you put a new fuse in the fuse box, and everything starts working again.
Look, there we go.
Yeah, you just managed to like pull this thing up and then just angle it down to hit towards the water. As it's coming down, you guys have this horrible 10 seconds where you see the ground rising to meet you and the pool of water that is rising to meet you. This sickening, lurching feeling. If any of you have flown before, that feeling where the plane just kind of like begins to go downwards and you're like, holy shit, I'm gonna die. That is what you're feeling right now. And after that, there is this huge sound of wrenching metal and the splashing of water as the plane crashes deep within the pond. All of you are sent flying and can roll me a dexterity check to see how well this goes. And there's been some nat 1s, and if anyone's looking to use any nat 20s on this. Anyone feeling a nat 20? No? Okay, good. So let's use Dr. Allen's nat 1, let's use Lockpick Lou's nat 1, let's use Sloane's, let's get rid of Garen's, and let's use one of Kip's as well. So we're all nice and often that once. However, for you guys, this is going to cause some amount of injury as you are just sent flying across the plane. You know, whether you were holding on to something or not, you have been ripped from its your place, its socket, I suppose, as this thing comes into the water. And let's see, 3 hit points is what the group of you lose as you are kind of like thrown around. Glass is smashed, water pours in, and you find yourselves like 20 seconds later after this huge landing, quite concussed, ears ringing, and you know, like eyes just kind of it's probably like blood dripping down from your head where like some glass has been cut into your scalp and just kind of beginning to drip down. And you are in this crashed plane, which is filling up with water, which smells awful, this water.
I'll grab a flotation device, and I exit the plane.
We're all conscious, yeah?
You are conscious, yes, you are conscious. You are concussed, definitely.
Okay.
Whether or not you're aware of that or not. Dr. Allen is probably aware that everyone's suffering from at least a mild concussion right now.
Uh-oh. Nobody go to sleep.
How close are we to, like, if you were to glance out the window of the plane, how close do we appear to be to land?
You are not far from land. Where you know, if you were to pull yourselves out of the wreckage, you know, this isn't going to drown you. You're not in a Titanic situation.
Garen has stayed pretty calm during the sharp descent and then crash, continuing to work through his rosary as he watched. But as soon as the plane starts to fill up with water and he goes flying, immediately pushes up and he looks a little panicked, and he snatches up his rosary and Bible and then goes towards the back of the plane to look for his trunk. He has a trunk of stuff back there that he seems very eager to get at.
Yeah, absolutely. You pull up your trunk of stuff and kind of grab it with you, and there is a pretty clear exit, which is like water is pouring into this plane, but there are enough holes in it which are large enough to escape from. You might like cut yourself on glass and wrenched and tortured metal on the way out. Kip has already managed to throw the body of Jameson out of the way. And he is like slumping back into the back of the airplane crash right now. So the group of you can pull yourselves out of the cockpit area and make a short swim away to land out of this pond. As you look back at the wreckage of your flight, which the plane is burned and destroyed. It looks like it's looks like it's been in a fight or something like that, really, and the thing is just blown up and burning, and whilst the storm is still raging and the rain is still pouring down on all of you, the flames are definitely a beacon in the night.
Will, could Jolly have grabbed the body of Jameson and his pack and then drug them out with him when he...
Yeah, you could definitely pull Jameson out.
Yeah, okay, I want to do that.
Okay.
On the shore, Lou's just like hugging her rucksack and, oh, I'm dying! The plane's crashed! We're all doomed! It's the end of the world!
Lou, it's okay. It's just water. It's okay. It's just water.
My head hurts!
You might get a contact bath. And Alan will grab his medical pack and start moving out also.
Nice.
Jolly sloshes forward and throws the body of Jameson on the shore as he looks over at Lou as well, and he says, see, oh, you need some soap now. And he gets down and he searches Jameson.
Nice. Jameson has $50 on his person.
Now I have $50 on my person.
Yeah, it is like fresh cash notes as well. Have been bound up. It looks like someone has paid him this money.
Any identification?
He does have ID on him as a. He does have his like pilot's license on him as well, I guess.
Does it say Jameson?
It does say Jameson, yes.
Now I have an identification that says Jameson.
That's right.
Sloane is gonna essentially kind of like on the side. He's gonna curl up in kind of like a ball, and he's just basically just gonna start shaking. Just leave him like that.
Yeah.
And seeing that, the doctor will go and check him first. Seeing that everyone's all cut up and everything, so I'm just gonna start going around administering first aid.
Band-aids!
Yay!
Band-aids and stitches galore.
As you see Sloane, he's literally just curled up on the floor, and you can see like there is a cut on his head, but you can just see his eyes just dead staring straight, and there's just like kind of mass panic on his face as he's just like, you're not sure if he's shaking with the cold or fear.
Okay. Sloane, it's okay. It's okay, man. We survived. Everything's fine. Just a couple of stitches. You're gonna have a scar. Chicks dig scars. Trust me. Trust me. You're gonna be fine. And do a quick first aid. Nice.
So, Sloane, you will heal for 1 hit point, and it's probably like a good half hour before the doc's going to want you to move anywhere, and probably for the group of you as well. Like, you all have, at the very least, like a banging headache from all of this, and probably feeling quite disoriented, maybe throw up as well from just feeling really nauseous from the whole event. Give it 30 minutes to an hour of, like, resting, and you probably feel like you could move again.
So Garen kind of comes in last because he's got the trunk, which is it's pretty large, and it takes some effort for him to, even though it floats fairly well, it takes some effort for him to get it back to shore, and he drags it onto shore and he sets it down on the edge of the rocks there, and he looks very unhappy. He was fairly reserved but jovial before, but he's very unhappy now. but he does glance to Jala and he says, "Yup, you're the driver."
Thanks.
Oh, I appreciate what you did up there. You ever flown a plane before?
No. First time.
Well, we'll take some small miracles then, I suppose, won't we?
Good thing we had your book on board.
Oh, that did absolutely nothing for us.
Yeah.
But I do thank you for acting quickly, sir.
Yeah, well, I was on board too, so don't picture me as a saint.
You spot Sloane sipping at a vial of something surreptitiously, and then putting the vial away into his pockets.
Sloane, how are you doing over there?
Sloane will just get up, look around, and his face is just completely normal. He goes, "I am doing as well as someone who has just been in a plane crash."
We've all been in a plane crash. It was a terrible, worst experience of my life, and I don't know what to do. She's just freaking out. She's just, wah.
See that, Doc? Two sides to every coin.
I think she's just upset because we can see her face now. So, and yeah, I'm just continuing to go around and.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it probably is an hour or so until the group feel ready to make any kind of move and are like sufficiently calmed down. No one has come to find you. You are probably about an hour out of Arkham, so it might have taken them about this sort of time to come here. But it might also be that with the storm, it's impossible to get out here, especially with like a car or anything like that. So yeah, you feel pretty isolated in this forest. You know that you're not far from civilization, but this forest does feel dark and oppressive, and you do not feel comfortable here whatsoever. The water as well is like stinking and fetid. It is perhaps even unnaturally so. It's been here for a very long time, and were you to you guys have all been kind of like bathed in it a little bit as you swam out. Your clothes now stink as well, and occasionally you see it bubble and boil. It's really uncomfortable to be around for any much longer. So you can feel free to do what you want.
Can I, can I actually go and get my finger in and go?
Yeah, it tastes, it tastes fetid. If you've ever had water which is like been out for way too long,
yeah,
that's basically what it tastes like. It's just like really gone.
It's
stagnant filled with bacteria. Yeah.
What the fuck?
So you think we all need baths now, eh? Right?
Yeah, Jolly immediately starts like stripping off his shirt and pants. And
now look, I'm not that kind of lady, Jolly. You don't need to.
Don't worry, you haven't had that soap yet. And he's putting on a fresh pair of clothes, even though everything's soaking wet from the rain. It's presumably a little bit cleaner than what they just came out of.
All right. Garen's doing the same thing. He actually opens up his trunk a little bit and he strips off his suit and really mad that he has to throw it away, but he tosses it into the muck, and he pulls out pieces of an identical suit, and he's gonna go ahead and it's mostly dry. He's gonna start getting into that.
So do you have one of those for every day of the week, or how do you rotate that?
Well, sir, I have 3 of them, and they all look the same. And they're all very comforting to me. Do you need a pair of clothes?
No, I'm good. He'll just be wringing out his Hawaiian shirt.
So
my favorite shirt. I can't throw this away.
Your watches would tell you that it's 2 a.m. local time.
We've got watches. That's fancy.
Well, Lockpick Lou might not have a watch.
I click my watch. No, I'm joking.
They say 4? No.
The storm is still, like, the lightning's still banging.
It's going, yeah. There are still white hot streaks of lightning which are in the area. Looking back, it did seem like unnatural. It seemed as though the lightning bolt might have even curved towards your plane, but it's difficult to tell.
Is there any visible lights around us?
Other than the lightning, no. And the light from the plane fire, the engine fuel which is burning away still despite the water. No, there are no lights. But you know that Arkham is about not far to the north, so reaching that by foot is definitely feasible.
Will,
right. Oh, go ahead.
I'm sorry. Will, can I make a navigate roll to see if we can get us there like by the quickest route?
Sure.
Yeah, never mind. I ain't spending 10 luck on that. we can walk an extra, half a mile.
Yeah. It is a slow and pretty miserable trudge through the Arkham Woods towards the town itself. You don't hear any sounds of engines or anyone up. I mean, it is late and everyone's in for the storm, so the sound of the lightning above rages. And as you reach the town, almost the very moment that you enter the town, the storm stops raging. The rain stops and the lightning and storms end. There is no more white-hot streaks flashing their way through the midnight sky, and you find yourselves in the quaint little town of Arkham. Architecture around here is pretty gothic and old. This place was probably built up around the 1800s and has it looks like it hasn't really been refurbished since then. You'd see a lot of carriages and carts out, not many automobiles around in this place, and certainly not many out at this kind of hour anyway. This looks like quite the backwater. Main buildings that you would see would be a central governing office. You do see the Arkham Miskatonic Library, and you will also see the asylum at Arkham as well, which is quite well renowned for its patients and insane patients, basically.
Right. Having reached the city limits, she will dig in her rucksack and pull out her crown that's made out of welded together and bent spoons that says Arkham on it and stick it on her head.
Nice. XP makes a joke saying for UK viewers, think Essex. Essex in Lovecraft Country is about 20 minutes to the south of this. So we're actually the town of Essex in this game. We're not actually that far away. We also are not far from the town of Salem in Lovecraft Country either. You'd be familiar with the general geography of this place. It is all along the Miskatonic River. Likely that pond that you came across is some kind of, leftover from the Miskatonic River, or, some kind of tributary or something like that. Maybe it runs underground. The Miskatonic River itself runs all the way across the country, basically, ending at Arkham. But further along it to the west, that Dunwich is there, along with Aylesbury as another little village in the New Hampshire area. So you are right on the coast right now, right on the far east of the to Massachusetts that we're in. You arrive, no one else is walking around. There may be the odd person up with a, heavy coat on, an umbrella walking through the streets, of the click-clack of their boots upon the
resplendent
cobblestones of this place, but it is still dark, oppressive. There are a few street lamps that are still left on, but for the most part, the town seems pretty dead at this hour.
May I suggest we find a place to sleep for the night?
And I've got a castle here.
You weren't shitting about that queen stuff, were you?
Well, do you think I was?
Made yourself a crown and everything, I see.
No, this was bestowed upon me by the people of Arkham's Cardboard Town.
My apologies. Yeah, let's find some place to get out of the rain.
And also thanks to the 2 donations, £22. Let's have another nat one for Sloane, Garen, Lou, and Alan. And hell, let's celebrate 2018 and throw in a Wild Magic Surge for Greg and Don. So if you guys could roll me 2 Wild Magic Surges, I'd love to look them up as you arrive in the odd little town of Arkham. Not Sloane, actually, we don't want it for Sloane. Run but Sloane. Oh no, wait, Sloane doesn't get one.
Yeah, he said me too.
Everyone except Kip. There we go. And let me look up these Wild Magic Surges for you. Boy, it sounded like Essex. Yeah, exactly. My hometown. So, Greg, what did you roll? Oh, he's muted.
638,
There
sorry.
you go.
It would not respond.
638. Caster can't sleep until he shaves his head bald.
Ah, good.
That's good.
It's going to be a quick...
After being in that water.
And then 3951 for you, Dom.
Nice.
Ooh, whenever caster casts a spell, ghostly laughter echoes in the air. Which we may come across later in this campaign with Garen. He is an exorcist after all. So, the group of you arrive at Arkham. First port of call, some kind of hotel, perhaps? Or
I mean, if they don't want to go
public
to
house,
Cardboard
perhaps?
Town, I suppose we could get a hotel.
Well, let's go look at the hotel first, see if there's a vacancy, and if not, then we'll.
We can go view
Well-
my kingdom.
Yeah.
All right. Sounds
Just kind of
agreeable.
looks at the other guys like.
Yep, perhaps tomorrow, miss. Perhaps tomorrow.
All right.
Under the light of day. That way we get a.
Oh yeah, the full
Truly.
effect of it, and
Yeah.
they have time to prepare for my arrival. Yeah, I like that.
Now, Doctor, would you suggest that we sleep tonight, or with the blunt trauma that we've received, is it better if we stay up? What do you suggest here?
Well, I kind of want to look at everybody a little bit further, but I think we should be fine.
Oh, right.
Nobody's thrown up too much, so.
Okay. So looking around the town, you can take a look to see if there's any hotels. There are two which you will come across, which are hotels. The first of which is the Grand Hotel of Arkham. The second, the Miskatonic Hotel, and there is also a boarding house in the area named Dombrowski's boarding house. They are all on different streets. Dombrowski's on the eastern side of town. The Grand Hotel of Arkham looks quite posh. Like you'd probably need to, have some money to stay there, and it's on the north side of town. And the Miskatonic Hotel is pretty old looking. It's not far from the library, and it's on the western side of town. So you've got
I vote the last
Okay.
place, closer to the library.
Yep, that seems prudent to me as well.
Okay. Entering into the Miskatonic Hotel, it is a old and dilapidating building on the western side of town, close to the almost cathedral-like building of the Miskatonic Library, which is one of the biggest centers of learning within this part of Massachusetts. Its scholars are quite well renowned, and they are known to look into all sorts of sciences, new sciences in particular, as well as very ancient histories as well. So the Miskatonic Hotel itself looks like it could do with a dash of paint. However, most likely its clientele are those that work and all live near the library. You step in, there is just one light on, and there is an aged retainer of a hotel server who's awake at his desk. He says, "Why, welcome to Arkham. Strange hour y'all are coming in. It is a auspicious night for sure. How can I help you all?"
Well, sir, we're looking for a room. Maybe just for the night. We're not sure, but we'll start with just the night, please.
Just the night, all right. What name should I put this under?
Well, you can put it under mine, sir. Father O'Kayan. Well, yes, not a minister. I'm a priest, but you can call me Father.
I see. Well, pleasure to meet you all. You're in room 327. He hands you a key. Feel free to use the facilities as you wish. Just be aware that we ask everyone to leave by 11 in the morning to do cleaning around here.
And do you have many other guests currently, sir?
Oh, there are a fair few of us that stay here. Yes, Mr. O'Kane. However, not as many as there used to be.
Father. From the back.
Yes, Jolly.
No, he's correcting the hotel porter.
Oh, yes. Father. Yeah, I
Father.
do prefer to be called Father.
Well, that may well be, my friend, but Arkham is a little bit different than what you might be used to.
Well,
Yeah. No manners then.
Folks have a long history of religion in this place. It's maybe best to keep that on the low down, as it were.
Is there any way I can wash?
He says, well, the rooms have facilities to use.
Thank you. And he starts walking towards the room.
Oh, yes. I mean, perhaps one last thing. Have you heard of a man named Armitage? You familiar with this guy?
Ah, the fella who's up at the library. Yeah, I know. I've heard that name before.
And is he local? He live around here? Or?
That he does. He has studied here most of his life, I believe.
Well, thank you again. And why don't we just keep it on the keep it between ourselves, a little secret. I'll take your advice and will not go by father around these parts.
Sounds good to me, Father O'Kane. Now, I must be getting on. He looks like he's got absolutely no work to be doing. But he hands over the key and you can go find your room, 327.
But this place has got soap.
It has those tiny little bars of soap. Yeah. And you enter into the, room, like large room that you've got, basically just a bunkhouse essentially. This place is musty and old and kind of smells like old books, really. And the mattresses are dusty and a little bit flea bitten. There is a dingy window outside which looks into one of the back alleys where a street lamp kind of flickers nervously. And the lights in this place as well aren't exactly great either, but at the very least you've got candles to light the place. There are little bars of soap as well. The room looks okay for a night.
If you need more soap, I'll just pick the other locks in place and steal some from the other rooms. It's fine.
I was just gonna say that there are several bathroom facilities available here that if we could get access to them, we could increase our ability to take showers in a rapid fashion. Could you open another door for me?
Yeah, sure. Let's see if we can find a vacant one. She'll just skip out in the hall.
All right.
Yeah.
Knock on the door across the hall.
Yeah, Jolly will knock on them.
Hello? Hello? If we don't hear anything,
Yeah. No one arrives in the door like next door to you, for instance.
All right, I'm gonna try to pick the lock. Unless it's unlocked, and then I'll just open it.
You don't need to roll. It's only a matter of time before you'll break this thing open, being quite a dab hand at it.
Yeah.
You clink it open. It is an empty room. No one's in here. It doesn't look like it's been cleaned or is ready for guests. But there are extra showers.
Yeah. There we go.
Yeah, Jolly jumps in one.
All right then.
Business is picking up.
Sloane will have a shower in the room they're originally in.
I'll keep guard on the door to the room that we both busted into.
Okay. It doesn't look like anyone's coming. It's actually very quiet around the Miskatonic Hotel, especially at this hour. It seems like most people are probably asleep.
All right. And then she will take the group's advice and clean up herself. She actually cleans up quite nicely.
Oh, there you go. Pruitt, you are muted, my friend. There you go.
There we go. Sorry. And I wanted to start going around and doing medicine checks on people now that we're in a cleaner environment, and we can maybe, especially once Lou gets cleaned up. I want to do her last because I don't want to pass anything from her on to my other compatriots.
Mm-hmm.
So, I just do you want me to roll for each one of those, or?
Sure thing. Let's have a roll. You've already gotten Sloane up on his medicine, so it's just Garen and then Kip and then Lou.
Okay. So there we go. Wow.
So
Garen.
Garen's a fail. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. You got these scars. I can't get them. It's weird.
Thank you for trying, Doctor.
Well, can't win them all, I guess.
Yeah, Kip's
you
a
learned
success.
about that in your book, and so that's for Kip.
That's success. You get a hit point back and you start to heal, as well as Lou.
Yeah, and if you're examining Lou, You notice that she's got a pretty sizable scar on the back of her head, next to where the fresh wound probably is.
And as you're going over Jolly, he's got hairline scars all over his face, around his eyes, around his nose, and both of his hands are riddled with scars along the knuckles.
Garen
So,
has scars too.
She'd also have
Bit of a-
scars on her wrists.
So,
Does anyone
Kip-
not
Kip's-
have scars?
I actually have it written down. All of my scars are mental and emotional. So, yes. You go through 18 hours of meatball surgery in a war and see if you come out okay. So yeah, he'll ask Kip, be like, you bit of a fisticuffs, looks like maybe, as I'm like stitching up your head.
I do what a lot of people tell me to do when I was younger.
Mm.
You know, they'd point, and then I'd do this, and they'd point, and I'd do this. It got me through.
Well, you've made it this far, so you must be good at doing this.
I'm all right.
So by the time you get into the Miskatonic Hotel, you're probably looking at 4 a.m. by this point.
Can I spend, because the doc, you did not get first aid, correct?
Well, I was gonna do that. Yeah, can you do that to yourself? Can you?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can first aid
Can I
yourself,
first aid?
yeah.
Okay. Well then, I will do that.
Let's see what happens with you here before I...
Yeah, you're familiar with what a concussion is, and you're pretty sure you can diagnose yourself with one.
There you go.
Nice.
Not to meta this, but does anybody else want to try to help out Garen? And then I'll figure out whether or not I want to do 4 luck to first aid him.
Well, let me look at my first aid. I could, Lou probably wouldn't. Honestly, she'd be like, "Whatever, it's fine. I'm clean now. You happy, people?"
Garen will try to he'll drink some water, and he'll try to do what he can to try to make himself more comfortable, to see if maybe he can partially treat his concussion.
yeah, okay.
Is that a first aid?
Yeah, give me a first aid.
Ooh.
Nice.
Thank
Nice.
you. My luck pool thanks you.
So yeah, Garen and a group of you are all feeling a lot better by the time that it's starting to get morning. You probably had a sleepover on the plane here, because that would be quite a long journey. So you probably aren't feeling all that. I mean, you've gone through a massive trauma, so your body is probably like, could do with at least a nap. But if you did want to push through to the morning and just go meet with the doctor, when the town is waking up, then you can feel free to do that as well.
Lou power naps. It's not often she gets an actual bed. And she's like, "This is so great. Look, it's a real mattress, sheets and everything."
Sloane actively attempts not to sleep, so he'll just stay in the corner or just sit down and look outside the window or something.
Okay.
Yeah, he's basically staring at Jolly as Jolly pulls up a chair to the window and looks out into the alleyway, just kind of watching until he drifts off. But he's keeping his eye on Sloane just as much as he's keeping his eye on anything outside.
All right. So go ahead, Doctor.
I was just gonna say, I'm gonna just break out a deck of cards, start shuffling,
Nice.
take a sip from a flask from my bag.
All right. So the town of Arkham wakes up the next morning, and as a group of you are watching the sun rise outside, you see the people going about in their horses and carriages sometimes. Some of them just pulling carts around, others just walking down the streets going to whatever job it is. Whilst Arkham is a town, it is the equivalent of like a small city, really. It does have a university here. It does have a large city courthouse, a fire department, police station, and a post office as well. So this place is fairly big. There are a lot of jobs, and there's a fair amount of economy here in this seaport town of Arkham. There is also, you would know, Dr. Alan Pearce, the Miskatonic Regional Medical Center, which is a place that you might be welcomed to, get some medical assistance and help.
I did my residency there. Yeah.
Exactly, yeah. So you can see the Miskatonic University and the library, which is inside. A lot of people are going in there this morning. There are like students which are going in there, professors as well. So it's very much like a busy school morning day essentially down this road. And outside, there's just a lot of general milling. Outside as well, you can hear the sounds of other people within the Miskatonic Hotel waking up and going about their business as well. That breakfast is being served downstairs, and that you're expected to leave by 11 unless you want to extend your stay here at all.
I'm rather eager to get to the library and meet our contact.
Do we know when the library opens? How early it opens?
It looks like it's open now. I mean, everyone's going inside, so presumably you could ask for a meeting with the good doctor, and it looks like mostly students and professors going inside. But a university like this, it would definitely have like guest access as well.
Well, my new friends, I think that we should certainly eat before we head to the library. But
Yes.
I'm not sure if we're gonna need another night here or not yet. Perhaps we want to keep our room for one more night just in case.
Better safe than sorry, I would think. Yeah, I'm okay with that.
Okay.
Well then, shall we have some breakfast and go meet this Mr. Armitage?
Food sounds fantastic.
All right. So you head downstairs, and the porter kind of welcomes you awake as well, and will allow you to get another night here. Seeing as it doesn't seem to be many other people staying here, you get a pretty meager breakfast. There's some eggs, there's some toast, some cereal and stuff like that. Cups of tea and coffee, but nothing extravagant here. And there are a few other clientele around as well, but most of them look to have had a quick breakfast and be scurrying off to the university or perhaps to the fire department building. The clientele of the Miskatonic University is probably generally middle-class folk. Folks who would wear, hats everywhere. You don't get a lot of working class kind of, workers around here, I guess.
Lou basically inhales her breakfast, and then she's like, "You gonna finish that? You gonna finish that? You could just like to like the rest of the group."
No, here, please. You can have some of mine.
Oh, thanks.
There is not a goddamn thing left on Charlie's plate.
Nice. So the group of you break your fast and head over to the Miskatonic University, presumably. Is there anything you want to do before that?
Did it seem like anybody was paying us an uncomfortable amount of attention over breakfast?
Oh, yeah, roll me a spot hidden.
Did it look like any of the other clientele didn't finish the plates in the downstairs?
Absolutely.
a good
Had a
one.
bit of porridge left over.
Yeah.
Yeah, she's gonna like, if she can't eat it, she's gonna stick extra pieces of toast in her pockets and just yeah.
Yeah, Garen, you notice that the hotel porter, a man you've come to know by the name of Watkins, does seem to be paying you a little more attention than usual. It might be because you're just new here. It might be to do with a religious thing, but he does pop his head in every now and again just to make sure that you're still there. It's not anything particularly malevolent. He's not staring at you from behind a newspaper or anything like that, but he just seems to be popping in and checking that you're still there.
He'll acknowledge him at one point and he'll say, "Sir, Watkins, was it?"
Yeah, he says, "That's right, just checking sure you've got everything you need, my friends."
Yeah, we are very well taken care of, thank you.
I'm glad to hear that. Where are you headed today, if I might ask?
Oh, around. Our friend here has some friends in town that she would like us to meet, and
I do.
so I think we'll meet some of her friends and have ourselves some social calls.
Excellent. Just make sure all of the silverware is there after I come back. He takes a pointed look at Lou, who's probably pegged as someone who's homeless, right?
As she's like shoving like 3 pieces of toast in her mouth at
Yeah.
once. She's just like,
You get the feeling that Watkins has been paying unnatural attention to you, perhaps because of Lou's presence.
And if we could get the soap restocked in our room, that would be be just great.
Yeah, I had a feeling you might need some more. So after that,
Bit of a smart ass, this Watkins.
yeah.
Feeling like a lot of this attention is because I'm here. I feel really special.
He is in the presence of royalty, so
He is, isn't he?
he doesn't know how to behave.
So you have your breakfast here at the Miskatonic Hotel and head over to the Miskatonic University, which is just over the road. Plenty of students are flooding in at this point. They've all got their papers stuffed under their arms. You get the sense that there's a fair amount of tension in the group, and you hear whispers of it being exam season. And it seems like a lot of them are, a bit nervous. They're going over their notes. Some of them seem to be quite sort of, upper class kind of kids. Some of them are just kind of your regular sort of ones. But to attend a Miskatonic University, it is the equivalent of like a Yale in this area of Massachusetts. So it's quite well respected. Perhaps not as well respected as, Oxford, Cambridge, Yale kind of tier. But certainly it's, well respected, especially for its sciences. So as you're heading in through professors bustling their way past and the occasional car which is coming down the main drive of the Miskatonic University, you head into the main hall in which students are gathered and talking, and there is a main reception desk. One kid's forgot his lunch and the woman's trying to help him and that kind of thing. And for the most part, though, this seems like the woman kind of looks up at you at the desk. She's pretty got her hair tied back and says, "How can I help?" Yes, do you need anything? As you're kind of looking at her and you're doing an awkward thing where it's like, do I go forwards to the desk?
Garen's carrying his Bible and rosary in one hand, and he's got a cello case in the other hand that he's carrying off down to his side. He says to the lady, "Well, hello there. My friends and I are supposed to meet a Mr. Henry Armitage. I don't suppose you know how we could get in touch with him."
Oh, well, do you have a meeting booked with him, or is this a meeting you're looking to book today?
Well, I do believe he is expecting us, though I cannot be sure.
What name should I give?
You can give him the name O'Kayan, if you don't mind. O apostrophe, and he spells out his name.
Yeah, she kind of writes it down. She passes it off to a boy who she sends running off and sits politely and kind of when you're waiting at a desk and she's there and she just starts doing some writing and takes a few calls while you're there. A few minutes later, the kind of busboy, I suppose, runs back and she says, yeah. The professor will see you now. If you follow little Tommy here, he will lead you to the fine professor. And Tommy looks up with a grin. He's a little bit like a young Jolly, I suppose. Flat cap on and looks to be, probably like a local boy. Maybe not old enough for school. Looks like a bit of a troublemaker by all accounts, really. And he kind of grins and says, "Follow me." And he starts leading you through the halls of the university.
As we walk through, I want to case the place. I'm like, that looks valuable. That's an exit. That's a window.
Well, actually, as you mentioned it, the Miskatonic University is home to a great deal of artifacts and antiques. As you walk through its hallowed wooden halls, you will come across all sorts of, pieces of artwork, pieces of old, maybe like a piece of cutlery from the Roman era. They've got some quite interesting pieces around here which the students are studying. You head through student halls, and you head past a very quiet section, which Tommy says, "We've got to be quiet around here," as there's an exam hall which is being in process at the moment, and he kind of tiptoes his way through. Leads you upwards into the university library, where it becomes very hushed and quiet. And Tommy stops and points in towards a office room. It says, "In there."
As they're walking through the Miskatonic library, Jolly will look over at Lou when they pass by something especially interesting, and he'll say, "Mouth-watering, isn't it? It's delicious just to be in the presence of such wealth. Please tell me you took some of the silverware from the hotel."
Not yet. I was planning on doing it on the way out.
I'm disappointed. All right. The guy's a prick. Take it all.
All right, with you.
If you put it in my bag.
The library is huge and filled with all sorts of dusty tomes. There are plenty of students around here who are desperately studying, and there are, librarians around who are stocking and ordering and placing books in certain shelves. But this is probably one of the largest libraries that you've been in, and it has a lot of histories and sciences as well. But Dr. Armitage's office door is there before you. And you can see through the slightly blurred glass that there is someone sitting at the desk.
If we pass by any kids doing like math studies or math exams, Lou's just gonna go 42, 37, 69, 84, like as we walk by, just to...
Well, if she's doing that, then I get to do the Fletch. If we're walking by any type of like anatomy class or somebody's like going dissecting something, he blows up a brown bag and pops it right when they walk by to see if they...
Like Scarper and you pretty get told off by a librarian of a very stern look and a shh. But heading towards the doctor's office, you will see Dr. Armitage himself. He is a man in his 60s or so with glasses who looks to have seen a fair amount in his time. He's wearing a lab coat, as he would appear to be a scientist. Looking around, it is something of a lab in here, as well as an office. He's got like stacks of books up. He's got, probably the odd frog which is being, used for anatomy lessons, and a few jars of some liquids around and that kind of thing. He's got a beard and a mustache, and he looks up from the top of his glasses. He says, "Hello, welcome in, Mr. O'Kane, was it not?"
Yeah, that's me. I'm Garen O'Kane. These are my friends here, and I suppose you're expecting us, yes?
Right, yes, no, I am. Well, I sent for some friends of mine back in my homeland, and they said that they would send some investigators over to help me with this case. If you mind closing the door.
I can close the door.
A pleasure to meet you all. My name is Dr. Henry Armitage. I'm known as Mr. O'Kane, but who might the rest of you all be? Or do you not say names? I'm not sure how this all works, I have to say. I tried the police, but they wouldn't do anything.
Of course not. Police suck.
Yeah, that's usual if we're involved. So, Dr. Pearce, thank you.
Another doctor, excellent.
Kip Edwards. You can call me Jolly.
Mr. Jolly, pleasure to meet you, and you, my friend.
Lucille Jenkins, so you can call me Lou, I suppose.
Lou, delightful name, Lou. Have I seen you round Arkham before, perhaps on some of the streets late at night?
I mean, maybe once or twice. I've been here, a few times.
Right, yes, you have a look of familiar face, and you, my
it's
friend.
probably the crown.
Yes, quite an
Gives
interesting...
me away.
Lovely. Looks towards Sloane.
My name is Sloane, but can we get on with this?
Right, of course. Well, let me all explain. Now, you might be familiar with the events earlier this year at Cold Spring Glen. Horrific incidents in which 5 police officers were brutally killed. And, well, it caused quite the splash in the papers, even made it across the pond, I hear. And, well, whilst the case has been put to rest somewhat, I can't but help but worry. You see, one of my apprentices, name of John Waits, recently has taken his own life. And while it was reported as being the account, well, the police said he was overworked, stressed, had an abnormality of the mind, but I found a note on him which suggested otherwise, which told me that he did not take his own life. That was something else was at work. He had grown strange in the past few days of his life. More and more babbling and, well, I almost believed he had gone mad. And well, he seemed more and more interested in this Dunwich horror, as they're calling it in the papers. Seemed to be convinced that it wasn't over, that there was something more to it. And the note just read, "I haven't taken my own life, Doctor, help me." Well, what am I to do? I took it to the police. Took it to the Miskatonic police force here in Arkham, and what do they tell me? That it's just the ravings of the boy as he'd gone mad. Well, I'll tell you what, John was not mad 3 days ago, and one doesn't just snap like that. I'm a student of the sciences, and if one has an abnormality of the mind, it is likely to grow and occur over the course of several years. This was most strange, in my opinion, that John would behave in such a way. And taking his own life, I mean, the boy was filled with prospects and hope. It seemed very odd to me. When the police would do nothing, I reached out to Caligula.
This makes you feel better, Doctor. That police here just like to stick everybody they can in that asylum right there.
Well, quite.
Sloane will take a seat and he'll cross his legs and kind of, lean back in the chair. And he's got almost an intensity that you haven't seen from him yet. And he will go, Tell me of the 5 police officers that died. How they died.
Well, I do have some reports from the papers that you might want to take a look at, and a few of my own notes as well that I've made on the matter. Let me see here. And he is gonna hand you a couple of notes, which I will pass out to the players as handouts here in Roll20. The first of which is Dr. Armitage's notes, which are contacts that he has in Aylesbury that might be of use to you. The Aylesbury transcript, which is another document you're about to receive. Editor Carver Daniels is the reference that you might be able to speak to there. He also says the State Police Post ask for Captain Miller. He explains, Miller is one of the only members of the police force that's even been willing to talk to me about this. It's all been very hush-hush, you see. The police force don't like to talk about what is, by all accounts, quite an embarrassment for them. And with the papers being thrown everywhere, they're not really willing to talk to anyone about it, at least alone me. You might also want to talk to Waitley's attorney, Peter Markovich. You'll see why here in a moment. And he hands to you over this police report, which looks quite official. Does someone want to read that out for the listeners at home? This report is actually from 1917. This is on Dunwich and the Waitley family. Anyone want to read this one out? I can read it.
I can read it.
Okay.
I don't even see it.
All right. Report by the Federal Draft Board. In fact, Lou will take it and just begin reading it out all hoity-toity. Numerous cases of close family members inbreeding may be blamed for the general decline in the health and strength of the population. Illiteracy is extremely high. A sense of decay seems to hang in the very air. Under the circumstances, it is impossible to establish the parentage of some individuals with any degree of certainty. Incest is frequent. In several cases, the individual in question was discovered to have been dead for several years. Apparently, no official records of these deaths exist. In one case, a young boy named Wilbur Waitley, this nearly consistent pattern of degeneracy was extremely marked. A quick examination of this individual was made by our physician, Major Crombley, which left the doctor shaken by his findings. Apparently, the internal organs of the Waitley child were so badly displaced that Major Crombley experienced great difficulty in even finding a heartbeat. When finally located, the pulse was so rapid and erratic that Dr. Crombley later expressed doubts that the boy would survive to adulthood. The examination was interrupted by the boy's grandfather, an aged rustic, who, along with the boy's albino mother, ran us off the property. In conclusion, it is the opinion of this board that no attempt has been made on the part of Squire Sawyer Whately or the rest of the local board to avoid its obligations to national service. In fact, they might nearly be accused of processing inductees of questionable fitness. After having personally witnessed the conditions in the township, I recommend that the local board be released from the obligation of its normal quota and be advised to henceforth process as many healthy draftees as possible under the circumstances that prevail.
Exactly. Now, this might not make too much sense, but Whately and the Whately family are what my boy John became more and more obsessed with, because Whately has been, implicated in the killings of the police officers earlier this year. Now, take a look at this report. It's from 1928, our year of our Lord, and, take a look at this one, and I'll hand it over to Kip. Kip can do some reading.
Nothing's working for Kip. Okay. Police reports regarding the missing officers. The 5 officers dispatched to investigate a reported disturbance at the Elmer Fry farm in Dunwich were last seen on the morning of September 14th, 1928. On the morning of September 15th, several calls were made to Dunwich, but the switchboard was constantly busy. Later, there was no answer. A car with 4 officers was dispatched, but experienced mechanical difficulties, which forced it to return to the station, arriving back here after dark. Telephone contact was later made, and it was learned that the 5 officers had not been seen since the afternoon of the September 14th. On the morning of September 16th, investigating officers contacted one Elam Hutchins, who led the officers to the Fry farm. The farmhouse was in ruins, and the abandoned police vehicle found parked nearby. According to Hutchins, the officers had left the car to investigate a wide, cleared path leading down into a neighboring glen. At the bottom of the glen, near a spot the locals called Rocky Falls, there are now thought to be the remains of the 5 missing officers were discovered. The assistant coroner, Dr. Houghton, was contacted, and after making an initial examination, ordered the remains brought back to Aylesbury. Official cause of death, lightning strike. Case closed. Lightning stroke. In the past tense, even.
Correct. It seems as though the coroner was convinced that it was some kind of freak lightning. I've managed to gather some other things, and there is one most particularly worrying diary that I found from Wilbur Whately. I've managed to uncover in my studies on the matter in the past few days here. It might connect some of the clues for you, as it were. And he'll hand, this one should be in your handouts now, over to Dr. Alan Pearce to take a look at. You got that one. It should be number 6. Oh, you are muted, Pearce. Sorry, dude. I wondered if you were talking.
Sorry about that. All right, excerpts from Wilbur Whately's diary, October 31st, 1926. The meddlesome one is gone. I carried her to the top of the hill last night, and they're chanted until they came. Others not seen before came with them, but I was prepared. Lavinia offered much resistance, but was no match for the whole of us. She went miserably, but it's now over. I disposed of what was left in the usual manner. November 2nd, 1925. Visited by the squire and cousin Tristram today. They asked questions about the Streeter child, and I told them I knew nothing. If only they could imagine what became of them, I'm sure their poor minds would be blasted beyond recognition. Cousin Tristram looked in the old furnace, but of course found nothing. They left soon after. June 3rd, 1925. I found the way to the depths today and saw that one that dwells within the hills. Vast is he, but still asleep. I have been promised that he will awake when the time approaches. I have constructed a doorway that I may reach him easier in the future. February 18, 1924. an accident yesterday while grandfather and I were making the gold. Fortunately, none of us were hurt. I will be happy when the change comes, and no longer will I have to do such things as this. Many in the village still lust after the secret of the gold. But if they knew the truth of the future, gold would be like dust to them.
It's of my opinion that while Waitley is now dead, after few ministers saw to his death at Cold Spring Glen, the abomination that I saw there as he killed those officers, I believe that somehow this madness, this strangeness, this change is still set to occur. Now, the Miskatonic Valley has ever been a place of mystery. The Hyperboreans were here thousands upon thousands of years ago, and they believed that when the stars were aligned that great changes could happen. And last night in the skies, I saw white flashes of lightning which could melt a man. They seem to bend and change with the winds in a most unnatural way, only a few days after John has died. Whilst Waitley is dead, and by all accounts been confirmed to be something of an insane man. Something still strange lurks around Dunwich, that I am sure.
Yeah, we definitely saw some of that lightning as well. And it doesn't quite melt a man. Doesn't quite.
Melts a plane.
Yes, I heard reports this morning that there was a plane which crashed last night.
Yep, that was our plane.
It's bloody horrible, was.
This hill he speaks of in his diary. Do you know of it?
There are many hills, some of which are connected to ancient Indian tribes and Hyperborean tribes who were once in this area far before our people were settled here. Which hill exactly he means I know not, for many of them in the Dunwich and Miskatonic Valley have been spoken of as religious sites. He leans in over his desk and says, "Understand that there are folk in this valley who believe in things and gods far older than your own, Mr. O'Kane. They still believe that there are real things which walk this earth, which perhaps live under it or over it, in the seas, in the valleys. They believe that they have real power, and on certain nights, perhaps that power can be seen. Perhaps on such nights as last night. Perhaps 3 nights ago when our John took his own life."
Now, Doctor, I appreciate all of the dots that you've already seemed to connect for us before we even arrive to do our work here, but perhaps we could just go back a little bit.
Yes, you are the investigators here.
John Waits, Waits was his last name, your apprentice, yes?
Yes, that is correct.
I don't suppose you still have this suicide or not suicide note that you spoke of?
I do, yes, and I can do you one better as well. He kind of hands over this crumpled note, which does read exactly as he says, "I have not taken my own life, doctor, please help me." And it does seem to be written in a scrawled and kind of scribbled hand and crumpled up. And he says, "I have made sure that the body of John has not yet been exhumed. There is a coroner's office here in the Miskatonic police station, and you may be able to see the body."
Well, that certainly might shed a little light. Where
At
there is
the
now
police
darkness.
station. The coroner's office is like in the police station.
Yes, it is a subsection of the department where they store the bodies. Generally, they are exhumed, or sometimes they are burnt, but, well...
Is there, like, a separate entrance into the coroner's office? Or do we have to, like, go through the police station?
Well, the coroner there, his name is Carrington. He would know, Dr. Horton of Aylesbury, who was the coroner on the Cold Spring Glens case as well. Gentleman definitely worth talking to. Now, I haven't been obtuse with my intentions with the coroner, although he has allowed me to make sure that the body has not been exhumed yet an extended period of time. The longer we wait, the more the body decays and the more evidence that will go missing. But there was something strange about it, I am sure. When I saw the body, it did not look natural to me, though I caught it only for a second.
But specifically, what did you see?
Something coming from around his mouth. Something...
Was it rabies?
No. He was far... There was no froth at the mouth. No, it was a green substance which was coming from it. Most unnatural, as though he had been sick, but it had an unnatural glow to it, I thought. Perhaps it was just a light, perhaps it was my own horror at seeing the child there, but... I paid the coroner a fair amount of money to keep the body there for your arrival.
You probably did the right thing.
The coroner knows we are arriving.
As I said, I have not been obtuse with him, but I believe that he will allow you to see the body, at least for a few moments.
Alone?
I know not, my friend. Carrington is a good man.
I'm sure we could work it out.
Yes.
Hey, Doc. This is off topic, but you talked about green stuff, and it made me think of the river. What's going on with the river? Stinks. Is that normal?
The Miskatonic River has seasonal changes which are quite beyond anything else. The valley itself, no one is quite sure where the water stems from. Could be that somewhere there is some kind of chemical overflow, or perhaps some part of the river has become contaminated with some strange source. There are plenty of industrial sites within Arkham which might have poured their waste into the river, and, well, you know how these things can get sometimes, yes?
Doc, would you happen to know if the Waitley kids' land, does this pass through this? Does the river pass through this place?
The Miskatonic River passes through almost all of this area and through Dunwich, so yes.
Curious.
How long ago did the river change?
I'm not sure. As I say, it's seasonal. Sometimes it is contaminated, at other times it seems perfectly normal. There are studies on it here at the university. If you were to take a look around the library, I'm sure you could find some more on it. Not my particular area of expertise.
And what is your particular area of expertise?
Well, I am a anatomist, for the most part, yes. And I do study in some of the ancient Hyperborean activities in the area as well, so consider me something of a historian.
Will come in handy, I am sure.
Yes, rumors of gold have ever been present in the Miskatonic Valley, that the Waitleys had some kind of secrets to making and manufacturing a special type of gold has been present throughout history in quite some time. Hence why it seems to me as though all fingers point towards the Waitley family in this case. Although perhaps it is just me being superstitious, a large part of me worries that it is just my own guilt speaking, that I could have saved the boy.
Being superstitious is good, Doctor. Trust me.
Not sure that I'm superstitious, Mr. Sloane. I look at the evidence before my eyes, but it cannot be questioned that odd things have been happened which are unexplained around the Waitley family and in the Miskatonic Valley of late. 5 police officers ripped apart by a man, as if they were struck by lightning. I was there when I saw Wilbur Whately. He was more than a man, and yet so much less. That vision still haunts me.
What did you see? What was he?
He was a beast, I think. Some part of him had snapped inside.
I mean, he just in attitude alone, or just in
His
demeanor, in
body was
physicality?
Twisted and warped, but that might have been some kind of disability that he had been born with. The amount of incest and reports of stillbirths in the area have led to many people, especially in the Dunwich area, looking particularly strange, as the first report I gave to you on Dunwich from 1917 will tell you. That much itself was not strange, for I am not a stranger to seeing folks of Dunwich. More so the look behind his eyes. There was no humanity left. It was evil.
Garen's been looking at this note that he handed over, the crumpled note and the handwriting. And then he pipes in again and he says, "Now, Dr. Armitage, is there any other writings from your assistant, you said, or apprentice? Which one was it there?"
John Waits was my apprentice and assistant, I suppose. I was teaching him.
And was he to become a professor like you? Was that his career path?
Yeah, he kind of smiles to himself for a moment, remembering. Yes, he said that he was going to be a professor here one day. He had dreams to take over my department and run it entirely differently. He was going to study aspects of sciences that, you would not be able to believe. Sciences that can cure the mind, sciences that can cure the body in ways that, are beyond us at the moment.
You know, it's interesting, Doctor, but most deaths that are suspect causes, if he didn't take his own life, usually are the result of someone close to the murdered individual. Now I'm not saying that this isn't all connected and that the dots that you have connected for us are not important, but in your mind, do you think that there are perhaps anyone who might be might consider him a professional rival or enemy of theirs, especially if he's working in fields that are perhaps beyond the normal boundaries of what's currently accepted?
He kind of looks down for a moment. Also very to Kent, who gives 2 nat 1s to Father O'Kane, and Whitefawn donates £10. TY for your time. Great DMing, great gameplay all. Thank you so much, Whitefawn. I appreciate it, my friend. For the kind words. And Dr. Armitage kind of looks down and his mood darkens a bit and says, "Well, the boys are all going through the exams at the moment. The police officers, they told me that he was incredibly stressed, and, well, I have to say that I was pushing him hard. And that was just because I wanted him to succeed, but maybe I pushed him too hard. I don't know.
Probably, but it's okay. You know, he's dead now. You can't really do much about it.
But the note would lead me to think otherwise. He did have a acquaintance, a young lady friend, although I believe that they recently ended things. That also is what the police used as part of their case.
Do you have a name for her?
Yes, what was her name? What was her? Margaret. Yes, Margaret Connolly.
Does he seem to be hiding anything? Does he seem to be getting perhaps more nervous as the questions start to step to the side of the Dunwich section of the case?
Yeah, roll me a psychology. He does look to be a little nervous about that side of things. you get the sense that he does feel very guilty about this whole thing, and it might be that he knows that he might have convinced himself that it is this crazy alien horror. In reality, he fears that he pushed the kid too hard and he took his own life because he couldn't deal with the stress. And I mean, like, you know, as in modern day, like, in the Miskatonic University as well, like, suicides are a thing. Especially in young men.
Now, Doctor, you said that he had become obsessed with this Dunwich horror case recently.
Yes, he had.
What else was he studying here, just on average? What did you have him doing?
Oh, well, he would, on a day-to-day basis, be looking into any of the many topics that I study. Specifically, we have been looking into kidneys recently and the restorative powers that the kidney can have upon the body, particularly to do with drug and alcohol abuse. There are a fair few at Arkham Asylum who have prolonged experiences with laudanum, which can lead to, well, a whole manner of problems, both of the mind and of the body as well. So that's what we've been looking into recently. But aside from that, the studies of the Miskatonic Valley, the ancient Hyperboreans who are said to have lived here.
Yeah, I've done quite extensive studies with alcohol and kidney usage also.
Love to compare notes sometime.
Do it over a drink. So now you said you weren't obtuse with this coroner.
Right.
He should be expecting someone to come along?
Yes.
And,
He will.
Can we get a note from you saying you sent us and like
Yes.
sign it for me, please? Just so you know we can have that.
Of course, I'll write you a doctor's note.
Thank you.
should
That'd be great.
Yeah,
Here you write one
should
out
be
for
good
you.
at that.
All right, Lou takes the doctor's note.
All right. He hands it over with a little bit of hesitancy.
Thank you.
Don't worry, she just took a bath. So
He says, I would suggest going up to Aylesbury of a day and speaking with Horton there and the members of the police department. Perhaps you can get something more out of them than I could.
Well, thank you, Doctor. You were talking about the boy's writings, and they're very interesting to me. Now, do you have any of his work, any of his papers, or anything on you that perhaps we could take a look at?
I do, whilst I am loath to part with it. Of course, I must. This police weren't even interested in looking at them, so I appreciate that someone would take the care to look into John's work, to be honest. And he'll go into his desk and get out a bunch of papers that are bound and sit them on the desk for you.
Now, do you mind if perhaps we take these with us so that we can read them,
Of course,
at our leisure?
Take them with
Thank
you, and they're the only copies, so I'd appreciate them being returned to me. At your
Of course.
leisure.
Of course, Doctor, of course. Thank you.
Do you have an address for John, where he stayed?
Yes, let me find it for you. 650 South Garrison Street.
Did he live with anyone?
His mother.
I see. And how is she?
He says, pretty torn up about the whole thing, as you could imagine.
Yes.
She blames me.
Heavy thing, that.
Quite.
She doesn't blame the girl?
Well, I think that they are close friends. Now that John is gone, she's the closest thing to John.
They're close friends, the girl and the mom.
Well, yes. I think it's rather easier to blame the old fool who pushed the son too hard than it is to blame the sweet young girl he was in love with.
There's no sweet young girls. It's all a lie.
You got a mother-in-law, Doc?
Can't say I do.
Not real sure about that theory.
Doctor, how long have you lived here?
Oh, almost all of my life. Came over from England, and, well, set up shop here.
And would you say you know a fair few people in this town?
I do, yes.
Would you happen to know of the person from the diary, Lavinia, those years ago?
That is not a name I am familiar with. Most likely, I'd point her to being a local of Dunwich, though they keep themselves to themselves over there, even more so than we here at Arkham.
Do they have a local newspaper?
Well, they do, yes, the Arkham Advertiser.
Interesting. Thank you.
One other thing, I mentioned the people of this valley being superstitious, and not looking to have other people poke their nose into their business. I am somewhat concerned that my studies might have aroused the attention of some of those people. I fear somewhat for my safety.
Who?
There are many groups in this valley. The most commonly used term is believers.
Well, which one of these believers, if they walk through that door, would you shit yourself the most over? Like, does he have a name?
I don't know who any of them are.
I mean, I'd shit yourself. You got a crappy lock on that door.
Yeah, there'd be plenty of shit, and they'd come right through it. They'd be in here.
I don't know who any of them are. No one does, other than those who are members of this sect. I just know that they like to keep people quiet.
Do they have a poobah, like a reverend, somebody that stands up in front of them, you know, holding like cotton mouse and
The
shit?
lead believer.
Oh, would that I knew.
Yeah.
They've existed in this valley for
Well, Joey,
ages.
remember how the our guy who helped us last night at the inn reacted to seeing Garen's Bible? So, don't want to start pointing fingers, but he might know something. Don't know if we should poke around with that, but he seemed kind of put off with the idea of religion. Wouldn't call him father.
We must be subtle. I do not fancy the whole town of these believers.
I am the picture of subtlety.
Indeed.
Right.
She is.
Subtlety of a sword, yes.
Is there any... do you know anything about these believers and their beliefs?
He says, all I know is that I think they are linked back to druids who were fleeing Roman oppression thousands of years ago, and I believe that is where it started. Although groups have been in the area, as I say, for ages. The Indians, the Hyperboreans, druids, where it all links back to exactly, I'm not quite sure, other than that there is strangeness in this valley, and ever has been. I'm not saying that there are people out to kill me, I'm just saying that you might want to be careful.
Hey, Doc, would you, if you're a betting man, would you say that this Wilbur was a believer?
Perhaps so. Perhaps so.
All right.
Although there has never been any accounts that the believers have harmed anyone. They do not dance under the moonlight and sacrifice virgins as those who study the African cults would have you believe. I believe they are secretive, but they wish to keep a peace of some kind within the valleys.
A balance of some kind.
Yes, that's a good word to use, a balance. I'm afraid I have some classes to get to. It is exam period after all. If there's anything else, then you can stop by any time here.
Of course.
Well, we hope to find you well. You've certainly given us quite a bit to move on.
Yes, like I say, perhaps it's the ravings of a guilty old man, or perhaps there is something there. Look at the body, speak with the girl, perhaps. Maybe there's something that I haven't been able to turn up. I'll continue to work here and find out what I can from within the library. If there's anything in particular you want me to look into, I can I can try and do that in my spare time.
Garen will stand up and with his cello, and he'll say, and if you feel threatened in any way, you will reach out to us immediately, even if it seems outside of normal rational thought.
Of course, I have a telephone here. Where are you staying?
We're over at the Miskatonic Hotel there, just near the library, not too far away. So if, you do see something, we could feasibly make our way here very quickly.
Okay, that is reassuring. Thank you.
I have a request, Doctor.
Yes.
I would like to find... you have access to the libraries and such. I would like you to find me any literature on the local groups, cults, the druids, anything that you can find. I feel that they will be useful for the future.
Very well, yes. I shall do so. Now, I guess I'll be seeing you.
A magnanimous dispensation.
Oh, holy shit. Thank you so much. I've got 2 donations to read out here. First one's from the 2 for £15. A bit unfair to the others in the party. Wild magic search for Sloane, Lou, and the Doctor as you leave Dr. Armitage's office. And Whiteform donates £50. I have to go in. Sorry about that. You're all playing good D&D. Thank you for your time. Thank you so much, Whiteform. We appreciate that so very much. And that's such a huge donation. Keeps the stream going. Love it, my friend. Love it. Let's get those D10,000s off. Let's see what happens here.
Alright.
Dr. Armitage basically excuses himself and ushers you out of his room.
It was me as well, yeah?
It was, let's see, Sloane, Lou, and the Doctor. So, Doctor, what did you roll?
7401.
7401 reads, target's presence makes hoofed animals nervous.
I'm not a horse doctor.
You're not a horse
so
doctor.
that makes sense.
Yeah, dude. All right, Lindy.
7823.
7823. Wow. Okay, so
All right, here, let's unpack this.
all right, so thank you to Kiana for the sub as well. The left half of your skeleton vanishes. That is interesting.
Like from sight? Like I now have half an invisible skeleton? Like if I...
Like, so half your teeth disappear?
Yeah, let's see how we play this one. So I think that we'll play this one rather than just whole body disappearing and you just looking like half a person the whole time. Is that in the mirror, when you look at Lou in the mirror or any kind of reflection, there is only half of her there.
Oh!
Freaky.
That is
Yeah.
freaky.
And Sloane, what did you roll, my man?
4474.
4474. Are you carrying any rope, Sloane?
No.
No,
Absolutely not.
All right, then I'll leave that one to later.
Great. I'm not going to pick up any rope.
Ever. Oh,
Ever.
Oh, you will.
Can that note now?
Oh, you will. All right, I'm making a note of that one for later here. In my wild magic place.
I'm scared.
So,
You know you're gonna have to grab hold of a rope to like save yourself. Like it's gonna be like you have to swing across something.
Yeah.
Your touch sets ropes on fire.
okay, so you exit out of Dr. Armitage's office and he kind of bustles off to do a class.
If he's getting up at the same time we are, can I like accidentally knock some papers off his desk? But in reality, I'm swiping some more of the like doctor's notes, like the prescription notes.
So he's not a medical doctor. He doesn't have any prescription notes.
Well,
he's just
fine.
a professor.
He's an anatomy doctor. They need medicines.
They need medicine too. That's true. All right, yeah. Roll me a let's see.
Sleight of hand?
Sleight of hand, yeah.
That's
Note
an
there as
extreme success.
well. Nice. Extreme. Yeah, you swipe up some of his extra notes just on the way
Yes.
out before he locks the place up.
Cool.
May I suggest we go to the coroner? We need to examine the body before it decomposes.
I agree.
Yeah, about that. Maybe I'll just wait outside the police station and not like go in the police station.
Yeah, I'm kind of with her. Maybe you guys go on in the station, and
Whoa.
we'll sit outside.
That
Yeah,
is fine.
I've been here before because I'm the queen of Codwood Town, and they put me in that asylum a few times. It is not fun. Let me tell you that. It took me 3 weeks to get out of there once.
Now there is that Margaret that and we got the address of the boy's mother, right?
Right.
Yeah.
Now perhaps maybe we can look into that at the same time that we take a look at this body.
We can go shake it down if you want.
I am very interested in seeing this body, though.
Yeah. And
Sure,
also,
we can split up.
we can
What
get
is-
more ground covered that way, right?
I
Exactly.
mean, it's a natural thing to do. Is
That's how that
split
works.
up. Just,
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, we
We'll
don't want
walk
to go to
around
the police
together.
station. You guys want to see this creepy dead body? I mean, yeah.
Cover more ground.
And
Yeah.
and also I know Jolly mentioned about reading books. There's also studying the library for the history of this area and the studies that they've done. Maybe try to figure out what's going on with the water,
Not
how
it.
it's connected.
Don't
So,
know
Actually,
about that.
I do have a task for you two.
Oh.
This John, I would like you to go to his mother's, where he lived with his mother, and I would like you to search his room thoroughly for any notes, books, drawings, sketches, anything that seems unusual.
Dare say creepy? Are we looking for creepy?
Creepy.
Sloane?
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
All right, I think I know what creepy looks like. If it's
I've got a great picture of it right
right
now.
there. Right. I got it. It's in here.
right. So Sloane, you're with me.
Yes, let's go investigate
Great.
this body.
Nice knowing you, Doc.
Later, Doc.
All right, so we got.
Do you mind if I? I'm sorry, Lou, but do you mind if I take that note since you won't be going to the body?
This note.
Yeah, the note from the guy. about
The note.
thing.
Okay, hold on 1 minute, and I'm gonna forge his signature onto the remaining doctor's notes before we do.
Excellent. So
That's a skill I have.
we've got Dr. Alan Pearce and Sloane headed off to the coroner's office.
And I believe Garen also.
And Garen as well. Okay, so the 3 of you guys, and then the 2 of you, Jolly and Lou, headed to the parents' mum's
Oh,
house.
this is a terrible idea. There's no one that can. Okay.
Well, at least we got someone who can fight. That's all we get.
Yeah.
I was
Yeah,
about to
so
metagame
one
and be like, at least one fighter's with each group.
Yeah, but there ain't no talkers with the one group.
All right. Well,
I'm a talker. I'm a
the
great
dec-
talker.
The
It's great.
decision has been made. So let's head with Sloane and Dr. Allen and Father O'Kane first of all. And the group of you head over to the Arkham police station. It is still early morning, so there are police officers going to and fro. They do have police cars. A few of them are pulling away and just kind of doing the routine rounds. It's one of the larger police stations in the Miskatonic Valley. Arkham itself is the largest, town centre, very close towards the city, really. And so there are plenty of policemen around as you come up towards the station steps. Everyone is allowed to enter, of course. And there is basically an officer on duty at a desk. You see other people who are being let out of jail after nights in the clapper, and kind of just being let out after they're no longer drunk. Few people stumbling out and that kind of thing, but no real, there's no one being murdered around here. No one's being dragged in with a gun or a knife or anything like that. It's all pretty small fry stuff. Garen, you can roll me a Wild Magic Surge from Kalashnikov. Thank you, Kalash, and thank you for the resub, my friend. Don't see what happens to Garen here as he enters in. Is that 5? Yep.
5379.
Ooh, that is interesting. You can't attack anyone until you wound yourself. So you've got a bit of a flagellant thing going on. The dude from that movie. Silas from Dan Brown's movie.
Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci Code, thank you. There we go. Had all the other names except for the title. So you've got like a bit of a flagellation deal going on. You know, whenever you hurt someone, you have to inflict pain to your own body. That's pretty awesome. So you step in towards the a police station. The officer kind of looks you up and down as he's wearing, his full-on police outfit. He's got a baton at his side, and he says, "How can I help y'all?"
Yes, we have an appointment to speak with Carrington, I believe is his name. Yes, the coroner.
Dr. Carrington. Let me see here. Looks down and says, "I do have a meeting under the name Mr. Caligula. Is that one of y'all?"
Yeah, I'm Dr. Caligula. Yes.
All right, then, you Roman son of a bitch. Let's get you down there. First of all, no weapons allowed inside the department. You understand?
Oh, well, I'm a doctor, sir. So
of course,
I'm here to help people.
We gotta make sure you ain't got no drugs on you either, just in case you carry someone in here that one of the inmates wants to use to get high or some shit. If you would all be kind enough to subject yourselves to a quick inspection.
Yes, and I'll present my medical bag because it's full of supplies and there's a little bit of morphine and other drugs in there. So I'll make sure to show that and be upfront.
Yeah. It's basically just like a quick kind of, up and down, like, do you have any weapons on you? Look inside your bag, that kind of thing. But
I'm going to try to talk and show him a lot to just kind of distract him from the others, I guess.
Okay. Is there anything you'd like to hide from the officer? No? Okay.
I'm not going to hide anything. No, I'm going to freely show him the little vials that I have.
Yeah, he would not. He doesn't allow any kind of drugs in.
That's fine, as long as I get them back at the end.
Yeah, he says, "Don't worry, we'll keep them safe."
Yes, I have no problem with that.
And they just kind of like put them into bags, and any illicit goods, drugs, anything which is like some kind of blade, probably wouldn't allow in, or could be used as a blade. Any kind of like sharp-looking object.
Like shivs.
Like shivs, yeah. He will not allow. And if anyone is carrying any kind of like weapon, there are certain laws on carrying around here. But luckily, if you guys know guns, Garen got anything which is particularly like sharp looking?
So Garen's carrying a cello case to his side, and he kind of holds out a hand for the officer, and he says, "Now, sir, I appreciate your laws, but I am a man of the cloth, and we do not appreciate being searched. I have certain artifacts here that are very important to my church and my people, and I'm not allowed to let you look at them. So if you don't mind, I promise you, we mean no harm. We're here to take a look at a body and do our work and be gone. But I cannot let you look inside this case. You're welcome to check my body."
Roll me a fast talk.
Does persuasion work?
I'll let you persuade. I appreciate your laws, but yeah.
I'm gonna take that as a failure.
Okay. He says, "Well, I don't know who your god is, but he certainly is not above our laws here, my friend. So if you hand the case over, I am gonna have to take a look at that."
And do I know, you're talking about the laws, so what would be illegal weapon-wise?
What's illegal? Yeah. So any firearm, unless you've got a license for it, you can't just carry that around with you. Also blades, you can't just walk around with a fucking knife in your pocket. If it's over a certain length, right? So you can have knives and you could have a knife in your home, but walking around with it, you can't just fucking stroll around with that.
So he sets the cello case down and he opens it up and he says, "Now I know that this is gonna seem suspicious, so but I promise you, this is a religious artifact only. It's purely ceremonial, not a weapon." And he opens up, and there's it looks ancient. It's a Templar's sword, so but it's been clean. You know, it's sharp.
Yeah.
It has an ivory hilt with red around the hilt, and it has like a crucifix on its pommel.
Yeah, he just uses that to cut the cheese for the communion crackers. Trust me, it's fine. It's gonna be fine.
I know your laws, but Excalibur.
Does this count as a knife?
That's not a knife. Sorry.
His eyes widen at this thing. Like, he clearly recognizes this to be an artifact. And he kind of looks up at you in surprise, like, you got a license for this?
Well, sir, you know, not on me. It's not that the Catholic Church hands out licenses as such, but I am entrusted
All right,
to.
well, my friend, I am gonna have to write you up for this. You know that, right?
Well, yes, and I do not want to interfere with your law, so
Now,
whatever.
I'm not gonna arrest you for this, but I am gonna have to write out a case on this, and there will likely be a fine. And you will also not be allowed to carry this weapon around, just walking around Arkham. I mean, what if a homeless guy gets a hold of this? What if a crazy guy breaks out of the asylum and just gets hold of a sword, you know? I mean, these things are dangerous for a reason.
Yep, I do feel very much the same way, sir, and that's why I'm carrying it on my person and not leaving it in my hotel room, if you can understand that.
Well, my friend, I'm not even sure that you've got a license to even have this thing. So, first of all, what I'm going to have to do is confiscate the item and put it into police custody for now, okay?
Yep, that is fine.
Second of all, I am going to have to get your full name and details, my friend.
Oh, yes, well, I am
Sorry.
Garen O'Kane, and
He writes
here's
all
my
this down.
address, and he gives him his address and everything.
Yeah, he writes this all down and says, I know you got business to be getting on with, and hell, we're pretty overworked here as well, but I'm gonna keep the sword here. You can come in tomorrow. We can talk about this all friendly-like, yeah?
That sounds fine, sir. I'm sure that we can come to an understanding between the two of us.
Of course. Now, I'm sure Dr. Carrington will come see you now. Follow me. And he is opening up one of the kind of like wing doors, lets you guys in, and is gonna just like close it over, lock it again, so you guys are kind of locked in this area, and leads you through the prison. You are gonna walk past cells. They do have doors up, and the shutters are closed, so you're not gonna see, you're not gonna see anyone in there. You will hear the occasional shout or like rattling of the door as hear the footsteps go by. But you are led through to the coroner's office, which is quite a cold area. You notice a chill in the steps as you're walking down, and your breath becomes a bit more frosty. So you head into this cool, cold office, which is like 60 by 60 feet. It's one of the largest spaces that you've actually seen around here. There are lockers of bodies, which are locked away, but they're clearly sized so that one could like pull one out on the rack and the body would be there, and they're like covered in that lot. But there is a body open on the floor room, I suppose, on one of the what's the word you'd use for it?
Lab.
Yeah, I guess the lab that he's got open there. Carrington himself is stooped over this corpse. The corpse himself is like a man in his 40s or so. He looks like he's got like blunt force trauma to the head, basically. And Carrington himself is a guy in his late 30s with a similarly sunken eye look to him that Sloane has as well. His face is a little disfigured, as is his hand as well, which is the only piece of skin, his face and his hands, that you can actually see coming out from underneath his lab coat, as he is actually inside this man's brain right now, going at it with some surgical equipment. He looks up from his glasses and says, "Who have you brought me?" And the police officer says, "Well, best of luck to y'all," and closes the door.
Oh, no luck needed, thanks. Dr. Carrington, I presume?
Carrington, that is my name, but I was asking after you. Now I have a name which was told to me, which is Caligula, but I know that is not who any of you are called. Presumably this has something to do with Dr. Armitage, who I believe has links to the British government.
Yeah, that's a good way of putting things together. Sure.
Now that I have assessed the situation correctly, and he makes another incision on the brain and pulls something out from there. Let us get down to business. How can I help?
Well, Dr. Carrington, I'm Dr. Pearce, and just want to see if maybe we could take a look at this sad case of this John Watley. Excuse me, John Waits. Sorry.
Yes. Poor boy. Yes, I have been keeping the body, despite calls from the mother to exhume it, but you may take a look at it, and I will give you my professional opinion as well.
Oh, I'm sure it'll be most beneficial.
Shall
we, Doctor?
Yeah, he'll chuck you a lab suit if you want to suit up, and some gloves and whatnot to go surgical on it.
Yeah.
And he pulls out from this rack the body of young John Waits, which he pulls out and pulls off the cover from. John was a boy. He looked to be about 15 or 16 years old. He is very young. He's a pasty-looking individual right now, his skin turning blue and purple from the lack of blood flowing around it, and his body is starting to decay. I mean, it has been quite a few days. Also, has been kept in a cool area. I mean, the smell is becoming quite pungent, despite the ailments which the doctor will have used on him to prevent too much decay and smell. You can see that there is a strange green, almost looks like liquid, but it looks like it's almost frozen around the corners of his mouth, which drips out. And there is a clear indication of where a rope has been tied around his neck to garrote him, and where he presumably killed himself.
Right. So how do the cops say that he killed himself? Hanging?
Yes, that is correct. That does seem to be the cause of death.
Okay. And I'll just start doing an autopsy. Do I notice, is his neck broken?
Yeah, roll me a... We've got medicine in this game, don't we? Yeah, roll me a medicine check.
Got a decent medicine score. Motherfucker. Could I... never mind. I was going to see if maybe I could talk to him and push this roll. Try it again.
Sure.
Confer with the doctor and... not quite sure. This is the first time I'm pushing something.
Yeah, give it a go. Push it real. There you go. So, yeah, the doctor kind of gives you a little bit of assistance. Yes, the neck did break, which would suggest that he took, some amount of a fall from the when he was hanged.
Right. And where did he hang himself? Do we know?
Yeah, you can ask Carrington. He says he was found in one of the student rooms.
How tall's the ceiling in there?
You have to let me look at the report. And he kind of opens it up and says, "Oh yes, more than high enough for his neck to break."
Sorry, can I ask which student's room?
He looks down at the report and he says, "The Eastern Student Study Room. It's room 102 if you wanted to go to the Miskatonic University, though I have the feeling that you've already been there earlier this day."
And does it say who found him?
One of the boys.
A name?
Stuart Atlee.
Okay.
As to what the green substance is around the mouth, well, that I can only put closest down to being some kind of fungal bacteria. It seems to me as to be some kind of spore. the nature of which is unknown to me. I am not an expert in such matters, other than identifying that it is some kind of harmful spore. I would suspect that the effect that the spore had could cause deliriums, delusions, and indeed induce one to take one's own life.
Sir, are there any experts on such botany in the area?
He nods and says, I'm sure there are professors at the university who will be looking into exactly these sorts of things. I believe that the Miskatonic Valley has ever been the place for strange plants to grow.
Yes.
May we get a sample to take with us?
That would be highly irregular.
Yes, but these are highly irregular times.
And
Know that they are just to go to the university so that they can study it.
You roll me a persuade. Also, very that Haley donates £5. I'd like to send a wild magic surge of love to a jolly old fellow. We'll roll it. If we roll that now, we'll look at that when we cut back to Kip here in a second.
Nah, I'm not very persuasive.
No. He, shakes his head and says, I have done much to preserve the body and to even allow you in here.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing you to take away would harm my professional reputation, and you understand that that is of utmost importance to me.
As you wish.
yes, we don't mean to step on your credentials, sir. And I want to check. I want to check his stomach to see if this green substance is there, if it's only in his mouth.
Yeah. Roll me another medicine check, specifically on the green substance.
Could be good. Success.
It does go within his mouth down towards the back of his tongue. And this would mean that if there were some kind of fungal spore system that were inside of him, then it could feasibly affect most of his cerebral cortex and probably most of his body as well if it were to reach the brain for that reason. And Dr. what's his name? Carrington. He'll say, it's not unheard of for fungal species across in the Africas to be able to infect insects and have all sorts of strange effects upon them. Perhaps this is one such thing. Brought over by a foreigner, perhaps? I don't know. One other thing that you might be interested in is to look underneath the nails. There are scratchings there of wood, as though you were clawing at something. This is one of the only findings, along with the green fungus, that I have been unable to explain and does not fit with the narrative the police would like to tell.
Yes, normally any kind of debris or detritus found under the nails indicates some kind of defense or struggle.
Yes, it seems as though the boy was clawing at something, perhaps trying to scratch something out.
Can we tell what kind of wood that it is? Just, you've gotten a sample to the university?
Oh, it is of the... yes, it is under investigation. Results are yet to come back, though my best guess would be the same wood that is used almost in every house around here at Arkham, and indeed, same wood which is to be found at the Miskatonic University.
Now, Doctor, in your professional opinion, having seen these irregularities, do you still believe that this boy committed suicide?
The death of the boy was almost certainly caused by the neck injury, the snapping of the neck, and the immediate asphyxiation which came with that. As to who might have done it, whether or not it was the boy or someone else, there are no signs on the boy, no defensive wounds, no bruises to show that he was under some kind of attack. The only strangeness is that strange fungus which might have led him to strange acts of depression or suicidal tendencies, and the claw marks of the wood underneath the fingernails could be explained as to any manner of ways. Perhaps it is merely something that schoolboy was scratching out on his desk as to some kind of note. I know not. In my professional opinion, the boy killed himself.
And have you had any other recent challenging autopsies?
Oh, most of them have been fairly common. We don't get any of the cases from Dunwich, you see. They go to Aylesbury. My learned companion, Dr. Horton, will see to most of those, which are slightly more strange. Mostly they are cases of, unfortunately, stillbirths and, well, miscarriages and odd abnormalities.
Yep. Does he seem to be obfuscating? Does he seem to be basically like trying to hide anything?
Yeah, roll me a psychology.
Yeah, success.
Let's see here. I mean, he seems to be a little bit cagey with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, maybe he doesn't trust you entirely. There's probably a little bit more he hasn't told you, yeah.
Now, sir, I know that you do not wish for us to take a sample of this fungal material out into the university, but if we were to find a specialist and bring him here, would you submit to us including him in our investigation so that we might find what extra connection might lie with this specific fungus?
I suppose that my interest in the fungus would allow me to oversee such a proceeding, yes. If you were to bring an expert here, I suppose I could. However, I am under no small amount of pressure from the boy's mother to exhume the body within the next 24 hours. There's only so many police officers I can push off of this thing. They all want the boy burnt and gone. They want the story to go out of the papers. Ever since the Dunwich horror, the police in this area have been, well, quick to silence anything which might be a little strange.
Well, that's not unsettling at all.
Well, what's another young boy hanging himself at university? Not really a story, but if there was something strange going on, perhaps there's some mass fungus disease going round, well, that's a story that the papers would just love to get their hands on.
And we wouldn't want to find the cause of it and stop it.
Doctor, do the police widely know about this fungus?
I do not believe they do, no. This is the first case I have seen.
And I know this is perhaps not in line with your professional, typical way of doing things, but if you are concerned that there's a story here that may be smothered, perhaps I might suggest that you do not inform the local police yet until we are able to examine this material as to the nature of what's in the boy's mouth.
And I'm supposed to trust a secret organization working from England, known as CALIGULA, over the police force of Arkham.
Well, in cases such as this, there is a reason why the three of us have been called here to look into this, and it's because we are uniquely qualified to get to the bottom of what is going on. And I assure you that in that, you and I, we are of the same mind and body, sir.
Out of professional curiosity, I will do as you ask for now. But as I say, I have 24 hours.
As they're talking, Will, I'm going to be near the body and I'm going to actually be running my fingers across the face and see if I can get anything.
Roll me a power.
Okay.
And I'm going to roll a contested power as well.
27 and my power is 85, so it's pretty... Oh, my word.
Yeah, the corpse is pretty open. Explain what this process is, Sloane, because you are a mystic after all.
Yeah, so essentially, this kind of... It's not... some will say it's a gift, some will say it's a curse. However, Sloane has this special ability to look into potentially the past, present, or future, or emotions of people if he gets close to them. They are very cryptic, and there's something that it has to be deciphered afterwards. It could be a lie, it could be thing, but it could give him a vision into something, and something unusual. And this is one of the reasons why Caligula keep him around, because he's quite unique with this talent. And all his life he's been trying to study why this has happened and stuff. So essentially what he will do is just gently stroke the cheek like that, and then actually go over the mouth and then take it up and go. And as he does that, his head kind of goes back and his eyes kind of like go white, and he kind of just starts going, he's kind of like in a trance.
Whether or not it's real, whether or not it's voodoo, or it's just something that Sloane believes himself to see, you get a vision, Sloane, in your mind, a blurred, dark vision which twists and warps its way into your consciousness, and you hear the words clearly as you are in the body of the child John Waits in this moment, as you are looking around frantically, and you say, "Judgment Day, Judgment Day, Judgment Day, Judgment Day," looking furiously around, and you begin to scratch into the floor just with your nails. Try to etch out Judgment Day, and just blood comes away as you're doing this in this mad panic. And then you're out again, and you're back in the room.
And
Doctor, the doctor just like pulls you off. What on earth are you doing?
And he'll kind of look almost through the doctor, just looking into the distance. And he's kind of, he almost instinctively with his hand goes to the pocket where the files should be, but he's just frantically just kind of going, and he can't find it, so he's just staring dead straight and breathing very quickly.
Nice.
Now, don't be alarmed, Doctor. Don't be alarmed. Our friend here, he has a condition, and sometimes this happens, but he will recover, I assure you.
They throw you into Arkham Asylum for less, around here.
Yeah, don't worry. He'll buy him dinner later. Don't worry.
It is a condition of the body and not a condition of the mind, sir.
Very well. Well, our time here is up, it would seem.
Yeah. I think we got most of what we need for now, but we'll be seeing you soon, Dr. Carrington.
Right. He allows you to exit his coroner's office.
Is anyone going to help him? Because he's kind of like on the floor.
Pearce will go over and kind of look at you, kind of. I'm gonna help you up, but I'm apprehensive about it.
Okay. I mean, I get up and he's not fighting it or anything, but you can see sweat starting to drip from his face. But his vision is purely, again, just looking right through you.
All right, Sloane, come on, let's get out of here. Let's not touch anybody else.
All right.
Garen will also help get Sloane up to his feet and see if he can get him steadied.
Yeah, you kind of pull him up to his feet as he's almost kind of like, passing out, eyes rolling back in his head, and Carrington says, "Good luck out there. Be careful."
Well, thank you, sir. And when you say be careful, anything in particular you're talking about there?
Oh, just be careful walking around the woods at night. Wouldn't want you to fall foul of any wolves or lightning. Strange weather in these parts, isn't there?
Yep, that is the case that I've noticed so far. Well, thank you for your warning, sir, and we will be in touch.
I'd hate to see you end up here.
Right.
Good day.
Well, good day.
Good day.
He lets you go. And you pull Sloane out of the police station.
Yeah, well, that wasn't weird at all.
Did you put the vials back in his pocket? You know, as they...
They'll allow you to possess any items that have been taken from you, aside from the sword, of course.
Of course, yeah. So, I'm hoping someone put him in the pocket because his hand's basically just searching in that pocket. And the second he feels something, almost instinctively, he just goes... Then he just...
Are you back? Are you Sloane?
I am fine.
You gonna shed some light on what just happened?
Some other time. We must hurry.
Agreed, and only because of that. Yes.
Yep, so where are we headed now?
I say we go back to the uni. Maybe see if we can see this kid's room. Check out the library. I don't know. I mean, need to get an expert.
Yep. I think that sounds very wise. What time of day is it right now?
Still morning, 10, 11.
Do you think we should go find our friends first, and so that we make sure that they know where we are?
Yes, that's probably smart.
Yes.
All right. So you head through the busy streets of Arkham. Sloane, you notice that when the doctor, of course, Dr. Carrington, kind of pulled you off the body and kind of took hold of you for a moment, and there's now something in your top pocket, and it feels like a card or a note or something like that wasn't there before.
I have a look.
It reads, "Caligula is not safe. You cannot trust the others. If you want to survive, trust me." And that's, of course, where we're wrapping up tonight's session of Call of Cthulhu.
Of course.
Dissension in the ranks.
Oh, it's episode 1 and there's already dissension.
Oh man, I mean, what's going to happen? You put a mystic, a doctor, an exorcist, a driver, and a hobo in a room, and...
it's like the start of a bad joke,
isn't it? Yeah, as I said earlier, yeah. Oh man. Well, that, my friends, is of course where we're going to end our first episode of Call of Cthulhu Nameless Horrors. So hopefully you guys are enjoying it as much as we here are. I had an absolute blast that session. Slow burner mystery that's going to be coming up around in Arkham and Dunwich, and of course we're going to get to more Eldritch horrors later on in the campaign, but this one for now we've got some intrigue and mystery, some of which may be arcane, some of which may be completely human, but we'll have to find out next time. If you enjoyed the show, hit the follow button and join us, and stick around because we've got another premiere coming up here. Episode 1 of Sands of Zahir is coming your way. If you like Tomb Raiders, if you like Tomb Robbers and desert fantasy games, then stick around because this one's going to be a blast. But let's go around the cast and crew. Did we enjoy ourselves? Where can we find you guys online? Let's start with the fantastic Sloane, redundant. Love and Sloane, first of all. Did you enjoy yourself?
I did. I absolutely loved it. Sloane is very different to pretty much any character I've ever played before.
Yeah.
It's really like out of my comfort zone. So I wanted to. I obviously wanted him to be quite creepy.
Yes,
but not
he
to
is.
the whole point. Yeah, but not to the point where you just instantly want to kill him.
Right.
You know. I hope I got that bit of a balance.
Walk right up to that line.
Yeah, I mean, he's going to be creepy, and he's going probably to get creepier. There is reasoning behind that. It's not just he is, but there is reasoning behind that. And I can't wait to get more imaginative and creative with my special ability and how it's going to get creepier.
Oh yeah, slow and creepy, just how we like it.
Slow and creepy is the way. But yeah, absolutely loved it. Absolutely loved it, and I can't wait. I'm so glad that I was able to make this episode, and I can't wait for next week as the story unfolds. And I just love the diverse characters we have again. You know, I absolutely love it. Although we could have done with 1 or 2 more fighters.
Nah, you guys will be fine.
Oh, we'll be fine. Anyway, I'm Redundant UK on Twitch, Redundant_UK on Twitter, and I hang around in Encounter Roleplay chat here and there and everywhere, watching, waiting.
Commiserating, yes.
Yes.
Incredible. Don.
I am Don, at Donathan Fry on Twitter. I had a blast today. I was really excited for this because I knew the characters ahead of time. Not a lot about them, but enough to know that, man, this is a real ragtag bunch that we put together here. And there's always a sort of bargaining, and like when you first start a new story with new characters between like what's the relationship going to be, but here like who's going to do what. And we started to get through that today in a really fun way, and we were already like knee deep in like my notes. I've never taken this many notes in one session before. It's a lot of thick stuff going on, so I'm super excited to slowly unwind to that and sort of figure out what's going on as I sort of figure out who my character is too.
Awesome stuff. Greg, yourself.
Man, I'm ready to go in like another 3 hours.
Yeah, me too.
I'm like stupid into this, man. I really got into it. Had a great time. I love all the new characters. Just a blast to see how this all plays out. I love the roles. A couple highlights, man. Don accepting the failed like sleight of hand just to make the story better. Ladies and gentlemen, that's the sign of a true player, man, where the failure is just as good as the success, if not better. Love it. Couldn't love it anymore. But the line of the game was the exchange between the doctors about the kidneys and the drinking. And he said, we'll discuss it over a drink. That was the line of the game. The line of the game was right there, man. Speaking of drinks, I would like to send drinks out to the following: Thor, Latu, Whitethorn, Great Haley, and that motherfucker Strider. I'm going to get you back in about 30 minutes, dickhead. Anyway, 1 to 4, I told you guys this is where it's at. I am having a blast. I'm already loving everything about this. Cannot wait till next week. You can see me, though, if you want some more Cthulhu action, on my own channel this Sunday from 7 to 9, where we're running a Pulp Cthulhu adventure set in 1933, where we bash Nazis and do Indiana Jones stuff. And then on Monday from 4:30 to 7:30 right here on Encounter Roleplay, I will be sitting in the Keeper's chair as we begin our tale of Reign of Terror, a Cthulhu adventure set in revolutionary France. Please join us. It is crazy, and I promise crazy deaths. I promise it will happen. Anyway, see you guys next week.
Awesome. Lindy.
Oh my gosh, I already love these characters so much. I can't wait to get to know everyone better and just to see where this goes. I'm super worried about what Jolly and Lou are going to do together on this adventure. But that'll be fun. I wrote up a quick list of options that she was going to read out, but now I can expand upon those over the next week. So be ready for a crazy harebrained plan. Again, love this. I could too go for another 3 hours. I'm like, we're over already.
I know, yeah.
But yeah, you can find me online at LaughLoveLindy at Twitch, Twitter, Instagram, all that good stuff. Here every Wednesday for the amazing Call of Cthulhu. Also on Sunday nights at Grimjack's channel for Pulp Cthulhu, and I just do general D&D video game stuff on my channel throughout the week as well.
Incredible stuff. Last but not least, Pruitt.
Oh my God, this was so awesome. Holy crap. Everything about this was great. I got, just like Jonathan, I have 2 pages of notes. I can't wait to get a board and some yarn, and I'm going to start a whole thing. It's going to be great. Having a great time playing Dr. Pearce, but I have watched MASH since I was 3 years old, so all the jokes are there. They just have to come out in the right order. Anyway, you can catch me later on tonight. Will, you're going to be DMing for Saber Dice on the Twitch channel at Saber Dice. You can also hit me up on Twitter, at JPru Inc. Also hit up the WebDM Show Twitter. And the bulk of WebDM stuff is over on YouTube, so look us up over there, and we'll talk about some D&D. But can't wait till next week, man.
Awesome stuff. Well, thank you guys so much for joining me once again. Thank you guys in chat for making the Call of Cthulhu shows so much fun every single week. Again, big shout-outs to Haley Whitethorn, Latu, Kent, and of course Strider for the donations in today's games. We'll be back, of course, same time next week for more Reign of Terror, and also a special shout out to Chaosium Inc. for letting us do this show, and for being all round cool folks, and for writing this game as well, which I'm enjoying so much. I think Call of Cthulhu might be becoming my favorite role-playing game. I think it might be overtaking D&D, to be honest. I'm like, man, I don't feel this way after D&D sessions. Like, I want to fucking keep going. So yeah, it's a lot of fun. Next show is, of course, Sands of Zahir, D&D 5e. Stick around for that. I'll play the trailer here in a second so you guys get a little bit hyped about it. And then, of course, we'll listen to about 20 minutes or so of Turn Cloaks, our podcast new episode, which will be out in a few minutes tonight as well, whilst we're on the break. So grab a drink, grab some food, and we'll see you guys next time. Until then, try not to throw too many nat ones because I won't be here laughing when you do. Good night, everybody. Farewell.